Alright, this is Sylvia again. Now it's live. Okay, I need to figure out how to use this so people can hate me all they want. How you doing? But at least have the guts to face me and tell me what's on your mind before you go and call me all kinds of crap. I really don't appreciate being talked about behind my back, especially when you don't know where I'm coming from. So the reason I'm on here is because I'm sick and tired of these goddamn extremists all over the goddamn place. Motel 6 in Lafayette, Louisiana is not the best place to be, to put it mildly. And I look like shit. Okay, hi. My name is Sylvia Lydia Morelos. Yes, I'm alive. I'm hearing all kinds of shit about how I'm not alive and all kinds of other crap. Anyway, I am trying to. Well, anyway, I'm at a place where I don't know if this. One sec. I don't know how to do this, but I'm at Motel 6. The Motel 6. I'm in room 119. It's in Lafayette, Louisiana. I'm having a difficult time with the fuckers outside. I put some videos on several times this week, and I'm sick and tired of going outside and fearing for my own safety as a woman. I am not happy about the way they've been treating me, and I've got a lot to say, but I'm having a difficult time with the pretense that I'm surrounded by, and I'm not doing well with regards to how I'm processing my feelings. I need to be by myself a lot. Recently, I bought a Prism phone. It's wonderful. It gets me places, like literally and figuratively. If you want to go on my blog, it's at www.sylvialydiamorelos.blogspot.com. My name is SYLV, as in Victor, IA. That's my first name, Lydia, L-Y, lowercase, D-I-A, and then Morelos, M as in Mary, O-R-E-L-O-S. I'm 39 years old. My birthday is April 20th, 1974. I'm a college grad, and I have a BA in Latin American Studies from UCLA. I'm very angry. When I'm angry, I have a tendency to vent. You can also find my YouTube videos on Sylvia Lydia Morelos, M-O-R-E. No, I'm not ugly, thanks. Sylvia Lydia Morelos. Sylvia, I've heard all kinds of shit. Sylvia Lydia Morelos, S-Y-L-V-I-A, L-Y-D-I-A, M as in Mary, O-R-E-L-O-S, on YouTube.com. I'm just babbling right now, but I need people to understand that just because you don't know me doesn't mean you have the right to assume anything about me, especially with all the losses I've had in my life regarding my brothers and my baby. If you go on to my blog, that would be great. It's encouraging. It would be recommended that you go onto my blog before you start figuring out what kind of person I am. I'm hearing all kinds of crap, and I'm an activist. UCLA started this shit a long time ago. I first went to UCLA directly out of high school. I went to Los Angeles High School, and I first went to UCLA in 1992. First generation college student. I went in as an undeclared major, and because I didn't know what I was going to do with my life at the time. I ended up as a Latin American Studies major, which is fine. I've learned a lot. I wrote for the Daily Bruin in 1997. My last name is Sylvia, and I wrote it as Sylvia Morelos. A lot of people have said that I never wrote for the Bruin, which is a fucking lie. I have proofs that I have, and they're in my email drafts. I'm not an idiot. And I wrote like 5 columns for the UCLA Daily Bruin. At that time, it was called the UCLA Daily Bruin Viewpoint, and it was the spring of '97 when I started writing for the Daily Bruin for 10 weeks. And I wrote about Proposition 189, Proposition 187, Proposition 209. I wrote about Condoleezza Rice and Chancellor Young. I wrote about religion, Catholicism, losing my religion. I was trying to figure out God. I was trying to figure out what he meant to me personally. I determined after all these years that I'm Christian, agnostic. I don't believe in organized religion, but I'm also I'm also Buddhist. I like Buddhism a lot. It makes a lot of sense to me. Very centered, very self-aware, that sort of deal. After I wrote for the Bruin, I started experiencing a lot of political targeting. UCLA is too far left. I'm a libertarian. I'm a proud libertarian. It's part of my identity. That's what I like. I'm very comfortable with it. And there's a lot of noise right now. They don't like me very much. Not that I'm the most popular person in the world in that sense. In college, I was being I don't know, politically targeted. At that time, I was apolitical, but I was writing about sensitive topics for my columns, and I got some feedback from people at the time, and I was very I wasn't amused, but I was very I'm a writer. I mean, I've been writing since I was like 7th or 8th grade, maybe sooner. It's personal with my mom. My mom was a good person and a writer too. She had penmanship, nice penmanship. My brother lacked penmanship. Jose Antonio Morelos, deceased, June 6, 1975. But he was a good kid, and I'll talk about my brother in a little bit because he needs validation, and I'm at a point where I'm stressing, and I need to let him know that I love him, and I know he's in heaven because he was a good person, and he didn't deserve what began at UCLA. He didn't deserve being murdered because of it. I found his obituary online last year when I was in San Francisco, and it said Jose Morelos, obituary, Mesa and Tempe, Arizona, and people will lie about it, but it's the truth. My brother was murdered, and it had to do with the people I'm still dealing with now, and it started at UCLA, and he was going to major in administration of justice at CSUN, Cal State University, Northridge. And the only reason I can think for him not being able to be there, and right now my neck's just cracked, whatever technology they're using, it makes my neck, I feel like a crack in my neck, and I'm really pissed about it. Anyway, my brother is very important to me, and he was murdered in Arizona. I'm not sure, it says Tempe and Mesa, Arizona. My brother's Jesse Alexander Rubio, born April 15th, 1981. It's going to get noisier the more I say outside. That's one of the reasons I want to have this live. I'm always followed by extremists and terrorist types, and I'm sick of it. I really am. And I have a tendency to get in trouble because I speak my mind. I'm not one to mince words. I know how to use words against them. And I'm not one to copy people. I'm very original. I'm very authentic. And I know my brother Jose would have wanted me to be myself, and I don't need to justify why I do things or how I do things, because when we needed help, nobody was fucking there. No one. Not for me, not for Jesse, not for Renee, not for Jose, not for my baby, my unborn. None of them. None of us were there. No one was there when we needed someone the most. So if I don't have to justify why I'm not in Arizona, for example, and I'm not blaming the good people who were there who cared. I don't have to justify why I'm not there for those who are self-righteous, that they think that I owe it to them. I do owe it to them, but not at your dictate, period. I'm going to do this the right way, not your way. And I do not like being told how to do things and how to express myself, because right now I had to cut off my hair completely short. I had it past below my waist, and when I last checked, if you check on Sylvia Lydia Morelos pics on Google, my hair was long, very long, and it took me like 8 or 9 years to grow it. And I have a tattoo on the lower back of my back. And I have a tattoo. I have video on YouTube that shows they're the roses and vines. And I like skirts, dresses and stuff like that. That's how frilly I guess that's how girly I can be sometimes. I'm not one for pretense or lying to people. And I could look you straight in the eye and say, I could look you straight in the eye, Ana, Margarita Garcia, and ANA AYALA. No, it's not slander. I know there's several kinds of bitches with the same name who aren't involved in this, mind you. But I know exactly who I'm talking about. I could look you in the eye without being ghetto about it and let you know that I don't appreciate what you've done to my family and myself, because I know they're involved. And, well, you're going to have to figure out which ones I'm talking about, aren't you? To accuse me of slander. Not that easy, bitches. That's their lingo. I'm not much into lowlives and ghetto skanks. I'm not a low-life ghetto skank, so they don't like me very much. I'm an educated woman, highly intelligent, highly creative, highly intelligent, highly creative. I'm an honest and ethical person. I'm not a whore. I don't have a tendency to whore around to get things done. I don't sell my body to get somewhere. I don't cut corners to wherever I need to get to. I'm get to, not ghetto. And this technology, I'm not getting into it, but it's very perverse. I don't like perversion. I've been raped, technologically speaking, about, I don't know, 6 times in the past 12 years. And that doesn't include anything that happened aside from that had more to do with me than anything. But I had to suffer from homelessness, political persecution, hate crimes for my faith, my gender, my ethnicity. They don't believe I'm this brilliant. People call me brilliant. They don't believe I'm this brilliant because of what? Was it my race? I'm part Mexican. I'm also Caucasian. My mom was Caucasian and Mexican. She was half Italian and half Mexican. And she was born in Torreon, Coahuila, my mom. She came to the United States when she was 4. And my grandmother, Ernestina Orozco, was born in Jalisco, Ojos Zapatillos, you know. So yeah, I'm very fluent in Spanish. I just don't want to brag about it and wear my ethnicity on my sleeve just so that the ghetto gang can feel like they've got one over me. They can feel better about themselves. Now then they'll go and say all kinds of, you know, I'm just not a leftist extremist. UCLA was too far left. They took it out of my family, just to put it short. 3 of my brothers are dead and my baby's gone. And they said, Sylvia, your baby is blessed not to be alive. I'm like, wow, don't do me any favors, you know. My baby would have been black, Italian, and Mexican, multicultural. And I'm thinking, whoa, you know, if they saw me as a threat, I can only imagine what my baby must have been like for them. What kind of a threat that baby must have been like. And my brother, Jose Antonio Morelos, that's the way we pronounce our name. My brother, Jose Antonio Morelos, they try to force me to pronounce it the right way, the Mexican way. Morelos, they said. Not no. Raul Lomeli, P with the middle name, from Mexico. I'm not the right kind of Mexican for Raul, poor baby. And, he always hides behind, El Mandilon always hides behind the women. Poor baby. Los mendigos machistas. I put on a lot of pictures about men and the Mexican militants. There's a lot of them who are very machista. They like to keep women in their place, and that's not going to happen with me. I'm not that kind of gal. I don't succumb to people with chips on their shoulder and say that, oh, the white man is the devil, and back in the 60s, they go, you know what, shut up, G. You know, and, you know, he knows who I'm talking. I know who I'm talking to, you know. And that goes back to UCLA. You know, I went to the wrong school, obviously. I still took responsibility for my own education and ended up graduating, finishing up my 8 units, and transferring them over to UCLA. And I'm a libertarian, and in spite of all these wackos, and in spite of the leftist extremists like Anna, both Annas, I know 2 of them, not just one, a short, fat tits bitch. She likes to have her brag about her boobs. How good looking she is. That's my problem, not my problem. The other one does the same thing and adds the extra last name to it. And she looks like she became a gang member leader. And Anna started working for a university where she studied psychology. The Jehovah's Witnesses are involved. That I can talk greatly about because I have a right to speak against a cult like the Jehovah's Witnesses. Jehovah's Witnesses are a cult, perverse cult. Deal with it. And, oh, look. And factions of some churches, Catholics, factions of some deviant churches. And the Jehovah's Witnesses are trying really hard to bring in the Catholics when it comes to the murders of my family. It's a long story, but Jose Antonio Morelos is dead. He was born on June 6, 1975. And he was murdered in Arizona. No one told me anything. No one. When it happened, where he was validated. I did my homework last year and I found him, and I can't find the obituary anymore. And I found the Jose Morelos obituary, Tempe, Arizona, and Mesa, Arizona. That kind of scares me because I don't know what they meant. Was he both places and it was legitimate. And then I got the big fucking finger from Obama administration, and because I was giving the finger to the NSA in Sacramento. And then when my brother was murdered, online when I finished reading the obituary, they gave me the finger, or he gave me the finger, and I was like, you know, whatever. It's not whatever. That's not what I meant to say, but yeah, it's like right back at you. And some people will tell me that's the price you pay for the freedom of expression, isn't it, Sylvia? I'm like, I'm still going to speak my mind, you know. You go behind my back, go after vulnerable members of my family, and when they're defenseless and on the floor. From what I understand, Jose was on the floor and homeless when he was shot, and someone bragged about it and said that there was blood coming out of his mouth, and somebody, Michael Juan, bragged about it and said that you know, he was mocking him, actually, and because he recognized who the shooter was, Gina, and he was horrified. And then I hear, you know, he was murdered, and that he was set on fire after the fact. So it's not something that's outrageous. It's actually they're pretty capable of this and more. They went after my brothers because Jose, it wasn't just a random thing. He was studying administration of justice at Cal State Northridge. Those are personal records. Nobody has a right to them. He was studying administration of justice at Cal State Northridge, and I'm sure, you know, there wasn't just a random pick. And he suffered because of what they put him through. My mom died. Our mom, Sylvia Lydia Garcia, born on October 29, 1956. In Torreon, Coahuila, she died of lung cancer at the age of 42, a chain smoker back in 2000. And my mom was a good person. We had our issues, but she was very dearly loved by Jesse, Renee, me, Sylvia, and Jose, and that's it. Kelly and Ashley know exactly who I'm talking about and who I'm talking to. They can go fuck themselves. And I'm not sure if they can edit this or not, but I really don't care, because they were in on the whole. They're half what we are, and I can't even call them sisters. They're half. They're not even human. I'm embarrassed to say that they were part of the same gene pool that any of us are human. Exactly, and I don't appreciate what they've done to my brothers. I hear that Kelly sang to him. And you say, you know, and she's saying to him, and I'm hearing, I mean, she is capable of doing something like that. And I hear that Ashley wants to work for the National Organization for Women now, which is embarrassing. But then with my luck, the left, you know, the extremist left feminist bitches, and where were they when I emailed them, you know? And I'm like, you know, I'm not much of a label feminist, but I am gung-ho against violence against women by so-called women. Ironically, like Kelly and Ashley, and I'm look at the noise for them. They're her supporters, extremist bastards. And I've got 20 years. I'm 20 years her senior. You know, she's a ditz, and I don't know. She brags about her boobs, from what I understand. Anyway, I went to UCLA. I'm a little disconcerted with the fact that they're even existing and taking this so lightly. People have a tendency to mock what they don't give a rat's ass about, and I'm an American and a proud one. And I remember in Mission Beach, they told me, we don't like her kind here. They said, an American, a real one, and that was referring to me. And I'm the one who has the flags to prove it. And I like my flag. Thank you very much. It's a democracy. That's what I like. I like what people fought and died for, the real ones. Woo. You know, and the fucking dirty politicians up in Washington are not people like me. And Obama and the Obama administration, they've always been soft on terror, and they've been very soft on terror. They're even worse in their own backyard, especially if we're not the right kind of money or the right kind of politic. Fortunately for them, unfortunately, I'm still here, and I think knowledge is power. Aaron Schwartz, Electronic Frontier Foundation. Aaron Schwartz was murdered, I believe. And freedom of speech works for me, people. I mean, and I'm talking to myself. Aaron Schwartz, I believe, was Aaron Schwartz. I can hear the noise outside. Aaron Schwartz was, I believe, he was also set up. He was driven to suicide, and Jeremy Hammond, Jason Hammond, and Chelsea Manning are more the kind of people I believe in. The good guys are usually demonized, dehumanized, and turned into some kind of a cause and poster children for whatever these fuckers want to, these progressives, motherfuckers on the left, especially on the left. dude, I used to think that Republicans were given evil. I'm like, the Democrats are so much worse. You know, the demo and Democrats. And I'm the one who wrote that. My intellectual property has been stolen over and over and over again. And people have the tendency to take credit for something that's not there, Kelly and Ashley included. And I'm a human rights activist. And so I'm a human rights activist, and I'm a writer, photojournalist, and have an imagination, and I'm very highly intelligent. And I'm surrounded by perverts. I was just up at the Tenderloin Tech Lab in San Francisco, California, and then I went down to San Diego. And San Diego is not that much different from San Francisco Tenderloin. And San Diegans are very pissed off because they were sold out by the crap that was going on in San Francisco. And I'm used to being made fun of. I'm used to being mocked. I'm used to being unpopular, which is fine, because most of the time people who are telling the truth aren't very popular, and the good guys are usually not very popular, period. And they keep bragging about majority rules by force, and I'm like, I don't think so. Majority doesn't rule by force. They're like, violence is power, and I'm the opposite. I'm like, knowledge is power, not violence. You know, and Aaron Schwartz is dead, and you got to wonder after, you know, and I understand why he would kill himself, and I'm thinking, you know, with friends like these, who needs enemies? You know, if you couldn't trust the person, the people close to you that you believed in, why would he even bother? It's 3 years, I think, what, 2 or 3 years that he was able to put up with the shit that he was dealing with from the government, and I'm sure the people around him who happened to do the tit for tat, like Trevor Tim, from Electronic Frontier Foundation for the government, and for whatever he claims to be Electronic Frontier Foundation. Oh, they're going to sue me for slander. Bring it, asshole. And yeah, I think they're kind of like a front for terrorism. And you know, freedom of expression. Who doesn't say and speak their mind and get in trouble for telling the truth? And all the bad guys are all gung-ho for me going to prison for slander. I'm all gung-ho for them going to prison for terrorism. The New York train derailment, the San Diegans and the San Franciscan Metro MTA, they were very gung-ho about the New York train derailment, and they said they deserved it. I'm the one who said something against it. I'm the one who said 8-year-old. An 8-year-old was the youngest who died in that train wreck. And so they're involved, the MTA union. The Amtrak number 2, train 2, coming from Union Station. I was online. I was on train 2. I was on train 2, and 11B. I was having a very difficult day that day. If you see my YouTube videos, you'll be able to tell. And at the end of the evening, at the end of that day, I was having a difficult time on the train. I was falling asleep, dozing off. I was very stressed out. Next thing I know, everything's quiet. There was nothing on there. There was nothing moving. The lights were off. Everyone was quiet. No one said anything. After a while, I was just dozing off and on. I kept thinking something's wrong. I called 911, and I told the operator. I thought she was a little weird about it. And she said, no one else has made a phone call. I'm like, no one? She's like, you're the only one who called in 911. And I didn't find out later when the train continued. It stopped in Rialto, California, I think, and I made a video on YouTube about it. I was on Amtrak number 2, train number 2, and I have my e-ticket online in my email. And I have my e-ticket online in my email, and that proves that I was on that train. And I know what my rights are, my civil rights. I'm not one to mince words, and you're going to try to take me. I want to see those fuckers face to face. If anything, the people involved with the murder of my brothers, if they want to accuse me of slander, go right ahead. They see what I did to you fuckers. And because the good guys are the ones who have the tendency to get into trouble for telling the truth. But at least we do the right thing. And I'm not one to be known as a coward. I'm not one to be known as being lazy. And the sick fucks around me have no self-esteem, no self-respect. And that's what the ghetto usually is, right? No self-esteem, no self-respect. There goes the AC on cue as usual. By the way, Motel 6, the one I'm at, has a reputation, from what I understand, of whoring people around, customers. I'm here because the rooms are cheap. They're like $31.86 a night, week to week. And I hear that they have a fun time here, and the prostitute or the whores come here for their extra shit at night and during the day. I leave my window open. I'm not one to mince words. I don't like being considered a whore because they were looking at me like at the racetrack not too far from here, the convenience store. I was buying stuff, and they wanted to give me 2 free cups of free drinks, and I'm like, do you want these? I'm like, do you want them? I'm like, no. And I paid for them, and it looks like, you know, the whores that go there, they get free food. Something's going on in this area. I like the reasonable rates. I like the fact that I can afford it right now. I'm also a disabled individual, and I can prove that. And so they said that you can't, and I'm part of the NRA, and they say you can't defend yourself against threats of gang rape and rape, because I received those in San Francisco, because you're mentally ill, they said, and you can't defend yourself. The disabled cannot defend themselves. And I'm a woman. I'm being threatened with rape. I'm being threatened with rape and gang rape. And I'm like, the NRA all the way. I'm part of the NRA all the way. Learn responsibility and accountability. Learn to be responsible with how to use a gun. I'm pro women's rights. I'm not necessarily a feminist, but that's what they call us, right? I'm not into labels. Labels are relative. And they said that I couldn't defend myself because I was disabled. And I'm like, dude, I know my rights, and I'm not going to tell you what they are, because you should know better. And so yeah, I'm part of the NSA, and I'm part of the NRA. The NSA can go fuck itself, and Obama's taking out his crap on me. If you look at microfiche, in case, you know, for whatever reason, go back through the whole last year, microfiche newspapers, you'll be able to see a pattern there, and compare them to the pictures that I have online. You'll see what I'm talking about. I've got pictures on Twitter, I've got pictures on TwitPic, I've got pictures on Facebook, and I've got pictures on Google, and this is what I look like now with short hair. Freedom of speech, there is no danger in being yourself. That's Walt Whitman. Freedom of speech is great. I feel good about the fact that I'm a good person. I have a clear conscience. I'm a good person. I have a clear conscience. And I do what's right, no matter what. Martin Luther King's birthday is coming up on the 20th. And happy birthday to Dr. King, because he also believed in education and character. Intelligence plus character is a real education. These ghetto gangbangers, extremists, left extremists on the left, extremists on the right, extremists on any front, and they're going to keep doing this, trying to pull a fast one over everyone, and you know, they try to pull another fascist Holocaust, something like that, and like, you know, like it's going to happen. And eternal vigilance is something that I really do believe in. You know, American Defamation League is something I believe in wholeheartedly, and it's real. People keep lying about how none of this is real, that it's only for entertainment purposes. I don't even understand why anybody would accept that. I think I'm more intelligent than that. I'm not going to put up with that shit and say that, you know, this is real. I had a metatarsal fracture. Somebody ran into me in a van, and they're covering up who that person was. My foot, if you can see it, it's doing better. Look at me. And it's my left foot. My metatarsal fracture was around up here somewhere, and it's doing a lot better. I've seen it online. It kind of hurts still. There's something still wrong with it, because it feels stiff. There's stiffness in there, stiffness in there, and it was a white van that hit me when I was in Houston. And I've got a birthmark, which is identified as it's a strawberry birthmark on my right, because they keep trying to mess with my identity, and other women pretend to be me. I'm 5'7". I used to be over 200 pounds because I was on some kind of medication that I didn't need at all. That's my deal. I'll talk about that later. And no, I don't need medication at all. I've been off of it for over a year and a month, something like that. Sometimes when these extremists went after me in 2000 after I left UCLA and started working for a company that started hiring illegal immigrants. Long story. It's all about politics, political targeting. I couldn't find a job, and I was trying to, and I ended up on disability. And I told them, I'm being followed. I'm being, you know, surrounded. They made me out to be like I was something that I wasn't. All I had to do was tell them the truth. they'll label you like schizo or something, delusional, you know. And psychiatrists usually know what's going on. Anyway, I was able to get on Social Security after a while, and I gained weight because I was taking medications that I did not need, like Depakote. Depakote adds a lot of weight to you, and it makes you hungry. And that's the medication. It's not the medication's fault, but that's what it happens. That's normal. I wrote a column in college about how Prozac was addicting. I was kind of ignorant about that, and it's not addicting. That's a whole different story. And anyway, I'm older and wiser. I know exactly what medication does. It's not the medication problem. Some people can be manipulative and use it and call you crazy, that sort of deal, when you're not. It's up to the person to get a second opinion. And natural alkaloids like St. John's wort, they're no good either. Just so that you'll let you know. Anyway, get a professional opinion. I'm kind of babbling, but when I wrote about depression in college, I'll find it. I have it in my email. I'm just like mostly all the stuff I can prove. I just don't need to right now. Okay. And with regards to my brother, I will do him justice, civilly and legally, and as much as I can. He deserves that, and he deserves that the right way. My brother Jesse Alexander Rubio, he was born on April 15th, 1981. Just to let you know, the Boston bombings happened on April 15th of last year. My brother Jesse was born on April 15th. It's not a coincidence. They used us as scapegoats. They used us as one person called me an asswipe. Like, I'm going to write about you, Sylvia, after you're dead, and write books about you and that sort of deal. Intellectual property, like, it's been stolen from me. Poetry, directly out of my purse. Okay, for example. And other stuff. And they claim, you can't prove it, Sylvia! So they're going to continue doing it because I can't prove it. That's what they're bragging about. You can't prove it, what we've done to you! And I'm like, alright, you know. And this shit started when I was in my early 20s. I was about 22, actually, when I wrote for the Daily Bruin, and I'm now 39 and almost 40. So when Jeremy Hammond and Jason Hammond and Chelsea Manning, when I found them on WikiLeaks is no good. WikiLeaks is a terrorist organization. Stay away from WikiLeaks, period. Julian Assange especially, and Jacob Appelbaum especially. They're no good at all. They're fucking communists. They're terrorist motherfuckers. And Electronic Frontier Foundation, stay away from those people because they're really bad people. They're not even people. They're not human. The fact that Julian Assange was allowed into the United States, tit for tat, that says a lot. It's a bad sign. It's a bad thing. And I hear that he's freaky. I hear that, I mean, I'm being, anyway. There's no one here, just so people know, just so people, you know, saying it's not a show. There's no one else here. There aren't. I actually covered the TV. I don't like, look at that. I covered the television. And so if anything else is being seen, it's not coming from me. It's not voluntary. I did not voluntarily give up my rights to privacy. I did not voluntarily give people permission to look into my imagination, to my mind. I'm not that stupid. I'm not an idiot, ignorant about my rights. So I never give up my right to privacy. I never give up my civil rights. That's you know. So no one's here, so nobody can say that. Oh, we're directing her, because I've heard all kinds of rumors about how I'm part of whatever. I'm not. I'm not much of a group person. I'm not much of a group person. I'm not much into Hollywood, because Hollywood is a very cultish, to put it mildly. And there's a lot of slander that's being said about me. There's a lot of stuff being said about me that's not true either. If anything, I believe in, like, Time magazine, you know. And it says here the year in review. Read that part, because it says, let's see, Time magazine, the Boston Marathon bombings, the U.S. government shutdown, Syria's agony, Iran's election, Egypt's coup, France's rebel pope. Time, the year in review. Time is a really good magazine, and talks about the Boston bombings. Trust me, they had something to do with it, these terrorists. And it was happened on April 15th of last year, 2013. My brother Jesse was born on April 15, 1981. If you look at information on WikiLeaks, my grandmother was born on August 14th, and there's something about August 14th on WikiLeaks. That fucker tried to use me as a scapegoat as well. Julian Assange and his WikiLeaks organization. And I can't stand WikiLeaks or Julian Assange. I can't stand Trevor Tim either. And if it just gets me in trouble, so be it. At least I speak my mind. That's freedom of speech. That's a right that I have, and I'm not keeping my mouth shut. Yeah, Hollywood has there's a lot of issues going on with Hollywood, and I'm not the only one with grievances against Hollywood. I would encourage people to please come out and say something against these fuckers, because their sense of entitlement really pisses me off. They cross boundaries. As it is, people are fanatical over Hollywood, you know, and I'm a very logical, rational, grounded person. I'm an educated person. I'm very grounded. They hate me. Oh, they hate me so much. And I'm like, you know what? Your apathy doesn't bother me. I can stand on my own 2 feet just fine. I don't have to whore around. And I'm very articulate. I'm very creative. I'm very I like self-expression. They get all pissy about how I express my femininity. That's something I need to deal with as well. I had to cut off my hair when it was really long because of the objectification and sexualization that I went through in Sacramento. It was very long, and it was up to past my waist. And I have a picture of how I actually, I'll do that. What the hell not? I need to put on my identifying marks on me. It's important for me to do that because they keep saying that it's not me. And I go, yeah, it is me. I keep hearing it. It keeps coming back to me. By strangers, by rumors, by talks around, you know. And it is me. So I am now in the I'm now in the kitchen. I'm not the kitchen part, but anyway, there's a lot of subtle violence. It's not so subtle when you try to scare the shit. There goes the motorcycle. And there goes the phone. And it's not me. My computer, my last laptop computer was stolen at the other Motel 6, around the area of the other Motel 6 in San Diego. The one on 2424 Hotel Circle North. And I heard from customers that other people that particular Motel 6 has a reputation for stealing. This one, I'm missing my USB drive again. That was what was missing at the other place. I'm not one to mince words and not speak my mind, so I'm not worried about it. If I get into, I'm used to, you know, I don't even look for trouble, and trouble seems to look for me no matter what. So you know, let's find it. Excuse me a second. I'm in the restroom. I'm not a person to give up their privacy no matter what, and I don't like being watched when I'm in the. I don't like being watched when I'm in the restroom at all. I don't like being told how I can express my femininity or my womanhood. Just to put it mildly, make people believe that I was not able to have any children. That's not right. I am able to have children. And anyway, I am in the restroom and I can be heard outside. They're trying to pull off that this isn't real. They're lying. And if it's going across outside the world that what I'm doing is fake, they're lying too. I'm trying to put something on where I can show that I have a tattoo. That's all. And I'm more of a moderate than a conservative. I'm not into extremes on any front. I will always vote from middle to right. I'm actually a libertarian, and I can't find my shorts. I need to find some shorts. I'm not into making impressions right now, but yeah, this is my tattoo. Not just anybody can copy a tattoo, and it also belongs to another person's artwork. It's freedom of expression. That's all I'm saying. And I have a tattoo. I've always had a tattoo. It's one of my I don't want to say a trademark, but yeah, it's me all right. And no one's been able to do that because I personally asked the artist at Mission Beach, the parlor, the tattoo parlor, the tattoo shop is not there anymore. And I don't know when they took it, when it went out of business. But that is my tattoo, and that is me. That is who I am. Same one that you see online with over 200 pounds, you know. And that is my, just to let you know, it is me. Okay, we're making a big issue of, who is that? What is that? And they're also making a big issue out of a picture that they didn't like, and I'm too ugly. I'm like, okay. You know, sometimes I'm photogenic, sometimes I'm not. Big deal. And then they made a big issue out of it when I wasn't around. And I think it's important for me to say something about it, obviously. And I've got a lot of stuff to turn into the FBI. And people need to take a look at this. This is something that I actually want to turn into the FBI eventually too. Hopefully it'll help. This is Hello Kitty Fun Friendly Doodles. There's a lot of stuff in here that is very disturbing. It's a Hello Kitty. I don't know how to do that. Hello Kitty Fun Friendly Doodles. Super cute full color pictures to create and complete. I bought this at the Postal Annex at in San Diego. It was disturbing for me to see what was on there, and I have to look for that picture. But sometimes I take some really ugly pictures, and yes, I do have it. And I'm the one speaking directly out of my home, and I'm not talking to anyone, so no one's going to know that I'm here. Self-expression. I mean, no one's going to know that. No one normal is going to know that I'm here, speaking out against all this. This is a picture that people went crazy over. This one right here, that one, and they went crazy over it because they said, "Oh, she's ugly, she's ugly." You know, look at that. Sometimes I take good pictures, sometimes I don't. Personally, since I've been going, and there's my Sylvia Morelos, 0420, 1974, 8339, and yes, it is a 4. 1974, 8339. They've been trying to mock me and say that it's not me. It is me. It is I. Whatever. Any more identifying anything? Oh, let me see. That's one. And yes, I was at a, 2424 Hotel Circle North in San Diego, California. There you go. There you go. And I've received a lot of death threats before. Death threats. Gang rape. I like Hello Kitty, but I don't like what those two bitches did to it. You should see the stuff on Obama with EBT. If you see it online, it was hilarious. And I was like, ho, Obama. I hate Obama with a passion. Oh look, am I going to get? What did he say? They take care of. He's gonna take care of his loose ends. Oh well, I might be one of them. Like it bothers me anymore. They took it out on innocent people in my family, and they took it out on people who couldn't defend themselves because they're also disabled. Jesse had Tourette's. He also used to work for San Diego Metro, cleaning buses. He did it for 6 years. I used to talk to him on the phone. That can be verified. Jesse Alexander Rubio, April 4th, April 15th, 1981. He used to work cleaning buses in San Diego at the bus depot across the street from St. Vincent's de Paul, and he was born in 1981. And then he said that I spoke to him on the phone. And he said that those are the. I mean, that's he was going to take a class from 5 to 9 to obtain his GED so that he can quote make something better of himself. Very hardworking, very noble human being, beautiful human being, and he's my little brother. He's dead. And I heard someone make fun of him and say he was a vegetable by the time we pulled the plug. I'm like, all right. And then Renee Isaac Rubio was born on May 2nd, 1983, and he graduated from Job Corps in San Diego, California. Started working as a dispatcher somewhere in Los Angeles and Long Beach, and he used to get mad at me because his name is Renee Isaac Rubio, and I once referred to him as my half brother. And I'm like, so I'm your half brother, huh? And I'm like, I'm sorry. It got to him. It really hurt him. And I'm like, I'm sorry. You're my full brother. And I haven't seen him in a while. Jesse and he left behind 2 little girls, and his ex-girlfriend, wife, whatever. And I don't know. She probably is mourning from maybe not. Anyway, I'm worried about my nieces because they are technically my nieces. They're beautiful little girls. When I saw them on Facebook a long time ago, and I can't find Renee Isaac Rubio on Facebook. That's where I saw the little girls when they were little, and they're probably under 13 right now. So I'm really worried about their future, and regardless of who they're living with, I'm very concerned about them because they went after my brothers. I'm very concerned about the little girls, my sisters. One of them is Isabella, and the other one I don't know her older name. And I remember Renee used to tell me, why don't you come with Jesse, come over so you can see your niece. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm an aunt. We used to talk on the phone. The fact that his girlfriend doesn't know anything is if it's a possibility. My brother and I we have a separate relationship from, you know, girlfriends and stuff like that. And I've known him since they were kids, and obviously because they were my brothers. And so he's dead, and I think someone implicated that he had diabetes. I don't know that for a fact. And I'm very worried about that because I didn't know that. He couldn't find a job for a while because it was difficult. Jose and Antonio Morelos, born on June 6, 1975, he also worked for MTA in Los Angeles. And I remember the last time I saw him, he worked for MTA in Los Angeles, and he wrote me a note, and it said, I work for MTA, the union strike happened, I lost my job, and then he said, I'm taking off, it's been fun, he said. And I was like, it hurt me because I'm like, oh my god, he took off, and I already knew he wasn't well, because after our mom died, Sylvia Lydia Garcia, born on October 29, 1956, after she died, he lost it. He completely became mentally unstable, and I'm not getting into details, but he was very mentally unstable, and he wasn't able to recover from it. So if he was chronically homeless, that's one of the reasons why. And if they went after him when he was like that on the floor and he was shot, and then I'm hearing other horror stories, I'm like, you know what? He wasn't able to defend himself. He was on the floor, and then they burned him. You know, so yeah, a lot of people have a lot to answer to. I'm very angry. I'm actually very enraged, and I found out about all of this within a scope of 90 days in San Francisco. And I was living in San Diego for 12 fucking years. No one said a goddamn word. Not one person. In Sacramento, people I thought were friends. And I hate WikiLeaks. I hate WikiLeaks because I know they're a terrorist organization. And they made fun of my brother. And they said, you should have seen the way your brother Jose saw you, Sylvia. I'm like, oh wow. You should have seen the way he saw you. In other words, he wasn't worthy to live, or, you know. And so I really believe Julian Assange is evil. He's a terrorist, a communist, that sort of deal. Julian Assange, Electronic Frontier Foundation, and that's actually what I believe, and I know that's right. So it's freedom of speech. If they wanna threaten me and sue me and threaten me again, that's their fucking problem. Because I'm not the only one who's saying things about Electronic Frontier Foundation. They're like, who's your source? I'm like, I don't say anything. Yeah, I can find it online. It has a really horrifying reputation. Oh, Electronic Frontier, yeah, not everybody likes them. And the last meeting, I went to their meeting directly. And the last one they had, like the activist meeting, I could barely sit there straight for 5 minutes. I can't stand those people, period. And I was there for closure. I don't want you people messing with me. I don't want you people, and I'm thinking, I don't want them in my life. And I did, I heard what they were saying, and I'm not getting into specifics, but this is very personal for me. And the frontier, the Syria thing that was online not too long ago, I would attribute that to Electronic Frontier Foundation, and I need to get this out. And they're a front, and I believe that they're a terrorist organization. And they want to sue me for slander. I wouldn't put them past those fuckers. I really wouldn't. And it said that the electronic someone hacked into, I think, a major newspaper. They were like, it's either someone from Syria or someone pretending to be Syria. I go, that's bullshit. It was probably Electronic Frontier Foundation, and because they're the ones who, oh, I can't speak out against them. The hell I can't, motherfuckers. And yeah, Electronic Frontier Foundation is very questionable. And Trevor Tim has a reputation for being extremely corrupt, and he throws around money like he was a saint or some shit. And someone told me about that, to music programs, things like that. And he has a tendency to cover up crimes. That's what I heard from other people. And it's not actually hearsay, because I'm sure people will come out and finally say something about it. And it doesn't bother me that I'm saying that. I'm speaking my mind. It's the truth. I was in San Francisco, the Tenderloins, for 90 days, and it has a horrifying reputation. And the sanctuary, the shelter sanctuary, has a horrifying reputation. They only hire gang members within the Episcopal Church. They hire gang members and staff, and they hire people that they know within their own. And the women like me, one woman actually said this to me. She said, she's decent, she was saying to her friend, she's decent and she makes us feel uncomfortable. And then I was wearing used clothing, decent used clothing, because of the donations that I went to get clothing from. They stole my identifying documents, my California ID, my EBT card, my Social Security card, my California, they stole everything that was identifying to me. And I heard them brag about that. That's not a lie. And they said that if any other women, decent women, they were saying, like you, come here, Sylvia, we'll do the exact same thing to them. I'm like, whoa, they don't like a decent, non-criminal, non-convicts type. I was threatened almost every day that I was there. Violence, and I'm thinking, I need shelter, I need my hygiene, and I need to eat, and I need rest at least 7 hours a night. And Sanctuary has a horrifying reputation. And someone warned me before I got in there that there are prisoners there right before they're going there right after they get out of prison, and child molesters, violent criminals. Look at the response. From Lafayette, of all places. Child molesters, violent criminals, and one woman said that she was a child, once a child molester, always a child molester. Deregistration of sex offenders was something they were gung-ho about. And when I heard one other fucker said, bragging, they say that you can't prove it, Sylvia, that's why they're all so gung-ho about it. Deregistration of sex offenders, they can go around not pretending to be what they aren't anymore, going from place to place, being free. I'm like, the hell, fuck that, They're bragging about being deregistered as sex offenders. And this is a Tenderloin. The Tenderloin has a horrifying reputation. If you go online and look at the Tenderloin, it has a reputation for death angels. It has a reputation for decent people getting murdered, being the youngest one in high school, I think. And it has a reputation for LGBT crimes. Very homophobic, very racist, very... and this is a progressive, so I'm a fucking break. And after a while, I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to call myself an activist anymore. I'm just a human being trying to do the right thing. And what I'm most concerned about is that they said, wait until she finds out what else she doesn't know. They already knew about my brothers being murdered, and they knew about my brothers being murdered. And I'm like, wait until she finds out what else she doesn't know. I'm like, crap. What else is there that I don't know? And in 90 days that I was up there, I was told a lot of things, and more than I can say for San Diego. You should read into One City, One Book, not the actual book, the pamphlet. There's a lot of information there about their hacking and their Julian Assange, Cory Doctorow, all that shit is on there. And San Diego tried to pull the same thing. It's just glossy about about it, and it's very horrifying. San Diego and San Francisco, they're very horrifying places, and San Diego is just very pissed off because there were some good, decent people in San Francisco who were humane enough to give me information that I did not have before. 90 days, and in 12 years in San Diego. In 12 years, no one said a goddamn thing. And then I found out about Kelly and Ashley, shit, and how they're involved. The Electronic Frontier Foundation, Trevor Tim, and I'm like, holy shit, I didn't know they were involved. And the last time I saw Kelly, she was 17. Ashley was 2 years younger. It's a lot of stuff. If you find out information about Aaron Schwartz, Electronic Frontier Foundation, and his long hair on YouTube, Aaron Schwartz, Trayvon Martin, that's a lot of information there too. There's a lot that I need to sort through, and just say that's not a coincidence. It ties in with a lot of stuff that I've been through. And Trevor Tim is not a good character, and if he wants to sue me for that, so be it. And I had to speak my mind. I'm a human rights activist, and I'm speaking my mind. If they want to go ahead and sue me for that, knock yourselves out. That's fine with me. And I have a problem with other people. You'll find more information on my blog at www.sylvia, S-Y-L, as in lamb, V-I-A, Lydia, L-Y-D-I-A, Morelos, M-O-R-E-L-O-S, as in Sam, .blogspot.com. And look under, I'm also a poet. You'll find me under Sylvia Sun Soul, Sylvia, S-Y-L-V-I-A, Sun, S-U-N, and then S-O-L, separate words altogether, under Google, on Google. And you'll find YouTube. Obviously, you'll find us on YouTube. I would encourage people to start voicing what's been going on with them, too. I wasn't planning on doing this right now. I'm thinking I'll probably just do something tomorrow online, live, or whatever, and I'm like, you know what, I have to. I have to. I feel exasperated or whatever. I'm not in the best of moods, and no, I'm not a mood swinger, and I'm not into mood swings, and I believe, I understand. I've been going through this in San Diego alone for like, since I was 27. I'm 39 now, and political targeting. I was thinking back when a long time ago, I would never thought I'd live to see the day when something like this would happen in my own backyard. And my brothers are dead, and my baby's dead, and I don't want to go into that. The only thing I can say is someone told me, your baby is blessed not to be alive. There's a lot underscoring the word blessed, and I just found that afterwards. And the fact that I have no friends, which is fine. This is when you find out who your real friends are. And all the people that I thought I believed in, I don't. And it's fine. I am not known to be a coward. That much I know. And I'm not a lazy anything. I speak my mind, and I'm a writer, and I think it's very important to know that I love my brothers, I love my family, my grandmother, Ernestina Orozco, my mom, Sylvia Lydia Garcia, my brothers, Jose Antonio Morelos, my brothers, Jesse Alexander Rubio, and my brother, Rene Isaac Rubio, and my baby, 7 weeks, and she would have been 3 or 4 years old by now. Santa Monica made fun of my baby, and around the anniversary of his birthday. I have proof of that online. They put a shirt in my bag, and I have a picture of a shirt with Beauty and the Beast on it to make fun of my baby's birth date. And you will find that on TwitPic or Facebook, and I'll make sure I put that on here somewhere. And I was shocked, and for a while I was kind of stoic about it, and then I threw it away. And another occasion, I was walking down 3rd Street Promenade, and the performers on there played an Eric Clapton song. Well, you know my name, if I saw you in heaven. And I know how Eric Clapton's baby died. It fell off the, and someone walked past me and said, that's in good taste, referring to the performer. And then on another occasion, I was homeless, I was asleep, and I woke up at about 4 in the morning, and I saw there was a car parked right by it, but I didn't pay attention to the car, and I had a camera phone on me. And the balloon said, there was a, "It's a boy," happy birthday balloon. And then right next to it, was not right next to a business that said pop music. I'm like, holy shit. And I'm thinking, well, that's nice, they were making fun of me. Pop music, it's the boy. As I was thinking back alley abortion, that's kind of fucked up. It's really painful when I think about it. And there's other things that I haven't talked about. Like I've seen they've put gloves on the floor sometime, like referring to the O.J. Simpson trial with the gloves and stuff. Like there were blue gloves, laminated gloves on the floor. They're blue latex gloves, white latex gloves, sometimes just to make fun of me. And I'm thinking they bought justice. That's what I took it as. They bought justice. Someone actually bragged about it. I was given a non-traffic infraction, and I was about to leave when a cop came up to me in Santa Monica, and I was also in Santa Monica, and they said, I'm like, I'm getting up to leave. Why are you giving me a ticket? Look at the noise outside. Why are you giving me a ticket? I said. And the cop said, is that your stuff? Referring to some other stuff that wasn't even mine. I'm like, no, all I have is what I'm carrying. I can't carry a black bag full of stuff. I don't do that, and I can't carry it. That's not my stuff. And then you're getting a ticket for blocking the sidewalk. That's exactly what he said. And then he gave me an attitude. There goes the AC, and it's turning on. He gave me a ticket for blocking the sidewalk, and then he said something or gave me an attitude, and I said, I'm not afraid of you. And then he said, you will be, what, terrified? I'm like, well, whatever. And then everybody from OPCC, the staff there, came out and they were laughing at me. And at OPCC, 503 Olympic Boulevard, the Homeless Resource Center, lots of noise happening now. And they're involved. The Homeless Resource Center, UCLA is involved. The Homeless Resource Center, OPCC is involved. UCLA #1 is the #1 involved also. And OPCC, and he said that, he said it's not fake. And if they're making fun of me, it doesn't bother me if they are, because I'm telling the truth. And Santa Monica caters to Hollywood, period. UCLA, the West Side, they all cater to Hollywood. UCLA, hello, the theater, School of Arts, School of Theater. Come on, they cater to Hollywood. Hollywood, Santa Monica, Malibu, that's our deal. Anyway, I'm not starstruck very easily. I'm not a ditz. Thanks. It's the goddamn truth. You can call Kelly and Ashley that, because they are. And they made fun of me one time, and they called me Meep. I'm like, that's not funny. Anne Frank, I'm a fan of Anne Frank. And they made fun of me and called me Meek. I really don't appreciate that. And I lost my train of thought. Anyway, the cop said, you know, you will be terrified, you know. And I heard him under his breath or whatever. And I walked away and I looked at the staff at LPCC. They were walking out as I had the ticket. And my ticket was given to me on the 8th of May of last year. The date of my non-traffic infraction to go to court was July 10th of last year. I didn't know who Zimmerman was before I showed up to court that day. And when I showed up to court that day at 1:30, it was my schedule for 1:30. I got there a few hours earlier. The Zimmerman trial was on. And I ignored it because I was, you know, I could have, you know, whatever. And I remember on Twitter it said that per Jamie Foxx, if Zimmerman gets off, he was promoting indiscriminate violence. And I'm thinking, you know, it just sounds weird. Indiscriminate violence scares the shit out of me. So I said something online. I'm like, you know, I was thinking of people who hear me, and I'm like, you know, if you have something or anger, if you're angry, you know, be proactive, you know, protest, do something constructive with your anger, because the violence is not going to hit your communities, and Hollywood knows that. Jamie Foxx knows that. It's going to hit your own communities. I said something on Twitter about it, protest, if somebody heard me. Eventually, I found it in the paper, okay, they're protesting, and then somebody else called me a communist, and that's fucking great. You know, I'm not bragging about that, and I'm not even taking credit. I'm just saying that Jamie Foxx promoted indiscriminate violence. If Zimmerman got off, and the violence would hit their own communities directly, it would not hit Hollywood, and they know that. It's like making fun of all kinds of people Hollywood does. And anyway, I think I've spoken a lot, I've said a lot, and I think Aaron Schwartz, Trayvon Martin, Hollywood's involved, the major players, Hollywood, UCLA, homeless resource centers like OPCC, the Loaves and Fishes in Sacramento, the Beacon, the Star of Hope in Houston, let me see, San Francisco, the Tenderloin Tech Lab, and Sanctuary, Hospitality House, both of them, and the Tenderloin Tech Lab, and Metro Transit up in San Francisco has a lot to do with what happened in the New York derailment. They said that they mocked them, and they said they deserved it. Basically, it was well deserved. MTA union, there's a lot going on with that, particularly with MTA unions right now. I'm not sure the specifics, but something's going on. And Amtrak was always a problem. And Amtrak is a problem because the train number 2 disappeared, supposedly. And I was half asleep. I was under a great deal of stress that day because look at my videos on YouTube and the way Old Town responded when the train was passing by. Look at the videos on YouTube. That's why I put it on. And at that same evening, when I was coming from Union Station, the train just suddenly stopped in Rialto, California, and the train in Rialto stopped in Rialto, California, and it stopped in Rialto, California, and it was there for a few hours, I think. And I was half asleep. I wasn't feeling well. I was terrified, and I was under a great deal of stress. And when I woke up, I called 911. Thank God for my Prism phone. And it also has a GPS on there, my Prism phone. So I turned it on, and I called 911. And I was the only one who called 911, I was told. I'm like, how is that even possible? I was terrifying. It was terrifying. And I have a 911 call, proof of that. On the 6th, at about 4:46 in the morning, afterwards, I made the video right there and then. And it was only a few minutes, but it was worth it to put online. So Amtrak is involved. And when I was on my way from Sacramento, I heard that the Amtrak train, it was stopped at about 10:30. I was leaving that same day. The extremists, they're the ones causing this problem, on Greyhound. And it was about 10:30, around 10:15. And around that same time, that same day, the Amtrak stopped. One of the Amtrak trains stopped somewhere in the United States, and I'm not sure where it was coming from, but they did it before, Amtrak. And on that same day, I was coming to San Francisco, and the Greyhound around 10:30, and I'm like, what? And I think, what time is it? I'm like, okay, it has to do with what these fuckers are doing. And I made it to San Francisco, and anyway. And then I turned around. I was watching the news live. Obama decided to cancel. Obama canceled his trip to California today. I'm like, that's not a coincidence. You know, that fucker doesn't like me one bit. And I've got other stuff to talk about, but I'm really stressing out right now. And I think I gave all the information that I needed to. Political targeting has always been my issue. I mean, has always been an issue with UCLA. They're very offended. And you will find post after post after post on Twitter about what I read about UCLA and their mission, their values and mission statement. Please go on to UCLA's mission statement and check out what they say, because I gave them a direct response regarding that on Facebook, and I don't think they liked it very much, because I found a lot of crap at the sanctuary that had directly to do with UCLA, and they're still going after normal students, political targeting. And it's a I would call it an extremist hub. It's like, you know, freedom of expression was suppressed in universities across the nation. UCLA is one of them. And I wrote that Kent State is to 1968 as UCLA is to the War on Terror. Try to figure something about that out. And one other thing, I saw in Santa Monica when I was at the mall, there was an ad on one of the stores, and it said, it quoted, "I will teach those less smooth the path to smoothness. Welcome to the Brotherhood of Shaving," unquote. An ad for razors. And I'm like, why am I the only one who noticed that? It was an ad for razors up at a shop on the second floor in Santa Monica Mall. It's not there anymore. It's a different ad now. But it said, and I quote again, "I will teach those less smooth the path to smoothness. Welcome to the Brotherhood of Shaving." And I'm like, fuck, you know. And I'm like, and that's an ad for razors, razor brotherhood. Now, Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King was Symphony of Brotherhood. Symphony of Brotherhood. Under the Obama administration, especially, they're saying, "I will teach those less smooth the path to smoothness. Welcome to the Brotherhood of Shaving." Underscore that. And Dr. King said the opposite. Symphony of Brotherhood. The Brotherhood of Shaving. Hello. Obama isn't obviously much into Dr. King, Dr. Martin Luther King. Anyway, I believe in him. Rosa Parks is another one of my favorites. She said that we are privileged, quote, because we can think. We can reason, and it separates us from the animals and the robots. There goes WikiLeaks. I am human. Fuck WikiLeaks. And take a look at a wall in San Francisco. They've got a wall on one of those streets, maybe not on 11th, but on the one and down the Tenderloin downtown. There's a picture. There's a painting or whatever you want to call a mural, whatever, of a UFO. Something in the middle has to do with the entertainment industry, I think. And then it says, "I am human," or "we are human." They're robots. Okay. I walked past that, and I'm like, the first thing that caught my attention was the robot part. I'm like, I am human, we're robots, or whatever. I went back, and I saw the UFOs, music, and I am robot. That refers to WikiLeaks and what they were doing up there. You need to do your homework, big time. And anyway, "I will teach those less smooth the path to smoothness. Welcome to the Brotherhood of Shaving." I'm like, you read too much into it, they said. I'm like, unbelievable. And I'm thinking, if you take that to any university and you analyze it, you'll see exactly what it's saying. Symphony of Brotherhood, Dr. Martin Luther King, and Brotherhood of Shaving, or an ad for razors. That's pretty brutal, you know. And Rosa Parks is also one of my favorites, and she said, you know, we are privileged because we can think, we can reason. It separates us from the animals and the robots. Imagine that. We have an obligation to preserve life on Earth. We are beholding to those who come before us, and if we are wise, underscore to those that come after. And I was thinking, my children, my nieces, the future, they deserve a good future with a democracy. The extremists and the Islam, Muslim extremist terrorists. I admire people like other activists, like a 16-year-old Malala, right? Malala, I'm thinking to myself, Malala, M-A-L-A-L-A, Yousafzai. Names are very important. Yousafzai, 16-year-old, who was shot by a Muslim extremist, and she survived it. You know, she's in Pakistani, I think. I need to it's in New Year in Review, and I did my homework. She's 16 years old, and she's standing up for children's rights and women's rights. There are a lot of good things happening with the young too, and their children. and I believe she's going through a lot. Her father's a school teacher, Mr. Yousafzai, Yousafzai. Good people. I mean, it's inspiring and encouraging to see them speak out against your nightmares and against your terrorists, because I'm doing the same thing. Sometimes I'm outnumbered by these fuckers, and it's overwhelming. It's very painful. If you see, I see my, what I have on here. I'm thinking for my little girl, it would have been like 3 or 4 years old by now, and I'm thinking, and there is I like Hello Kitty. It kind of makes me, that's the way I feel about her. She would have been 3 or 4 years old by now. And then they said, this is what keeps me going. When you saw only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you. And sometimes faith does move mountains. It does a lot. Because they try to take away my faith in myself and in God. And I'm thinking, if without God I'm nothing. There's only so much I can do as a human being. I'm not Superwoman. There's only so much I can do. I've got a scar on my arm. It's kind of difficult to notice, but somebody just called me a bitch, I think, outside. I heard them. And look at that scar. And yeah, there's somebody in Texas said that it's not that deep, because it's barely visible, but it's on my left arm. And I'm thinking, wow, you have no idea what you're talking about. And but I'm doing this. It's important for freedom of expression to exist. That's the pinnacle. That's a good word. It's going to go with democracy, And thank you. And read Time magazine. Focus on Time, the year in review. It's a wonderful magazine. It has a lot of good stuff in it. Please support also the Hammonds, Jeremy Hammond, Jason Hammond, and Chelsea Manning. It took a lot of courage to do what they do. And obviously, I'm very supportive of them, because if it wasn't for people like them and I was all by myself, they dehumanize us. They turn us into, they demonize us, every single one of us. Snowden is no good. Sorry, it's the goddamn truth. He's a traitor. I'm not getting into. He's a real terrorist, and anyway, I'm not getting into details. But the Hammonds, Jeremy Hammond, Jason Hammond, and Chelsea Manning are like my heroes, and of course Malala Yousafzai. She's like 16 years old, and she's been speaking her mind with since she was 11, and blogging, and the terrorism that she had to deal with, and the Muslim extremism that she had to deal with in her own country, in her own schools. Education is important, and they were shutting down education for girls in her country. She said something about it, and it's a matter of integration, and there were separate schools for girls and boys. And she makes a difference, and she was very inspiring to me, and the fact that she spoke her mind, it makes a big deal for me, and I just don't think of myself. I know there are good people out there, and if I seem convoluted sometimes, I'm sorry. I'm just going through a lot, and I don't let people take me down. And my brothers deserve that. I was becoming apathetic, and I'm thinking anti-American. I'm thinking anti-fascist American. That's what I don't believe in. Anti-fascist American. We're in there. We're probably dealing with some of it still. And I'm thinking, I was apathetic for a while, because I was losing hope and faith. And I'm thinking, when I found out about my brother when he was murdered, they expected me to be devastated. I wasn't. It made me angrier and more determined. And I'm thinking, that's exactly what they wanted. They want me to be devastated. It doesn't devastate you still that your brother's dead. I'm like, fuck. I'm thinking, it's not that. It's, I'm thinking, my brother believed in this country and democracy. A lot of good people died and fought and died because of the freedoms that we have. And as a civilian, I have every right to exercise my rights without fearing for my life every time I walk out the door. Intimidation, harassment, humiliation, dehumanization, those are crimes against humanity, and they're not isolated incidents either. Slavery, limited mobility, murder, attempted murder, murder, enslavement, mental abuse, and physical abuse are also crimes against humanity. NAMI, National Association for the Mentally Ill, they need to take responsibility for all the abuses that they've done against disabled individuals. NAMI, Behavioral Health Community Research Foundation, South Bay Guidance Center, they have to be responsible for the abuses that I've suffered from, and so other victims like my brothers have suffered from, because there are other who will play the victims, and they'll say, she's going to be the speaker for us, we're going to force her there. So you see my dilemma. You know, the people who take advantage and try to use me as a poster child for their fucking programs, that bothers me. So I'm thinking, I need to defend myself, but then they're saying, you're going to be able to do things, and it's going to be for us. We win. You know, I'm like, fuck. We win. You know, I'm thinking, I'm not going to be your fucking poster child for your fucking causes, you know? And the hypocrisy of it all, you know? So I'm thinking, all right, you know, as a human being, as an individual who cared about her family, I will do something about it, but I'm going to be very specific, and obviously I just did. So I would encourage people to not lose faith. When somebody tells you you can't do something, it's not true. I'm living proof of that. And my brother really, really inspires me, because because of him, I'm no longer apathetic. I'm thinking, I'm not hateful. He loved this country, and he was a very good person, very noble. I mean, Jesse and Renee and my brother Jose were very, very, very noble, kind, compassionate, good people, very good people. My brother Jose might have gone lost a little bit after our mom died. Passed away from lung cancer at the age of 42, and he lost it. He loved my mom dearly, and that would be a major life crisis that would cause some kind of mental illness, and he did have that. And the fact that they murdered him having a mental illness, and he was on the floor unable to defend himself, that really kind of ticks me off. And that just ticks me off. I haven't felt it, the full impact yet, because I'm dealing with, every single day I have to deal with stuff. Threats to my life, gang rape, technological perversion, when I'm vulnerable. Right now, I'm having a problem with men. As a woman, I'm not a lesbian, but I think lesbians are great because I think they own up to who they are. It's wonderful, and I'm not homophobic at all. I'm very comfortable with my sexuality, but at the same time, I don't like to deal with men because they objectified me and sexualized me, and they were basically saying, we can't help you unless you fuck us. And I'm like, not gonna happen. I've been celibate for over 1 year and 7 months. And I'm hearing that people made me out to be a whore. I'm making a Texas trucking whore, and the leader of a gang, and the leader of a terrorist organization, Madam President, and she's a spy, or she works for the FBI. I'm like, oh no, bitch! Every week it's something new, you know. And I try to nurture myself one day at a time, because I think that that's the way I get through the toxic of everything, the toxicity of everything. So I'm very fortunate that I still am a loving person. I'm just going through a lot with these monsters because they're not going to change, and I'm not the most popular person in the world, and that's fine with me, because most people, and I'm thinking, great spirits have always been opposed by violent opposition. It's the truth. And I understand how Mahatma Gandhi survived. I understand how Martin Luther King survived. I understand what he was dreaming about. Character, intelligence plus character is a real education. 3 meals a day for the body, culture and education for the mind, and then the last part is dignity for the human spirit. I'm not sure about the last part, but he's very important. It bothered me when I went to Santa Monica, because I saw him hanging, like just as like a portrait, just hanging on a wall, Martin Luther King Library. I'm like, wow, you know, it's kind of it hurts, you know. And I'm thinking, he's another historical figure in history. I need to let that go. It's too close to heart. It makes me a human being. He said across politics, across boundaries, across in character. You know, he said character, and he was not a racist, and he was a good person. And I'm a libertarian, and that's another issue altogether with my politics. I've been discriminated against because of my gender, my faith, gender expression of. I'm too sometimes I'm too liberal. I'm like, we don't like her. Because women like her are the ones who take men away from me. What the f? You know, like, because I'm intelligent, they want to, you know, you're a pity homicidal psycho bitch. You know, like, I don't want to hear about that. But that's the truth. That's what they're doing. Gender, faith, they don't like my Christianity. I'm Christian, but I'm agnostic. I don't believe in organized religion. I read Jesus Calling, and I love the part where she says, Sarah Young says that she was a daughter of a college professor, and as a daughter of a college professor, she was always encouraged to think for myself. I'm a first-generation college student, and I love my mom. Very creative, very beautiful person, and they made fun of her a lot. They make fun of my mom. They made fun of my They made fun of my mom. They made fun of my grandmother. They made fun of my brothers and myself. And they made fun of my baby. And I'm not going to keep my mouth shut. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I'm not one to be known to be a coward. And I'm not one to be known to be I'm used to the death threats and the rape threats. And at this point in time, somebody didn't think I would make it. And obviously they were wrong. They were very wrong. And I keep getting back up on my feet. The metatarsal fracture was a direct attempted murder. And then somebody said in Oxnard, "You're Christian and you support gays?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they call me a fag. And then I ended up falling. That was my thing. I tripped over something and somebody put some extra force and I hit the a post really hard. And I got up and I started crying and I kept walking down the highway and I'm like, was bawling my eyes out actually. It was painful. So there were 2 attempted murders against me already, and I would consider running over my foot. I got, lucky. And these are very difficult times, but they're not impossible. There goes the whatchamacallit. There go. I didn't. There's somebody else trying to take credit for what they think they did for me. During the worst periods of my life, I didn't get any help at all, and somebody's trying to force me to say something else against the good people who did help me without my asking them to. Those are people that I never saw again, but they made an impression. They made an impact in my life, and thank you, because I know they know who they are. And if it wasn't for you, they were in. There goes the fucking noise again. They were very inspiring to me, and I was able to get back on my feet. And one person I was thinking, what a catalyst for change, man. They inspire me, and I start smiling. I'm like, they've touched me deeply inside when I do that. And there have been, several, in the past 12 years, or can count it, but maybe a little under 20 people, random strangers. I don't consider them that random, but they're wonderful people. And they said, "Oh, she was bribed." No, I wasn't. They tried that, though. And they say, you either become a Democrat, become a lawyer. What do you want, Sylvia? What do you want, Sylvia? Everybody has a price, Sylvia. I'm like, I don't think so. I don't bribe. I don't bribe. I'm not bribable, actually. And they're like, why is she doing it? She's doing it for money. You'd be surprised. I really believe that in what I'm doing, that, I speak my mind. It's the right thing to do. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of people thinking that they don't need to wake up and smell what's going on and rage against a machine. I just heard music from them, and I remember I used to rage against a fucking machine, man. And I've never listened to their music until now. And I'm thinking, it makes sense, rage against a machine. I'm like, obviously it makes sense, but I just, a little while ago, I just listened to their music. I'm like, oh, wow. I'm like, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I will keep talking about my family, and I think they're very important. And I don't like the fact that they weren't validated. When people go off to war, they come back and somebody passes away at war, they get notification that their family members are dead. That's a decent thing to do. I didn't get anything. I found it online. I didn't get any notification that my brothers were dead. And I'm like, well, just throw money at her, then she'll feel better, and then we'll move on. I'm not gonna happen. It's not that easy, It's like blood money to me. I'm not bribable. And it means a lot to me that my brother wasn't validated. My brother was not validated when he was murdered, and there are 2 other bitches that I need to go and bring them to justice legally, because they're going to play the victims, and they have in the past, and they want to get out of it no matter what. And I'm not keeping my mouth shut because there's nothing decent about them, and nothing decent with regards to values of a human life, or a human life. And I'm 20 years their senior. So the only family that I had, all my 3 male brothers are gone. All the 3 males in my family are gone. My brother Jesse, my brother Renee, and my brother Jose. And they're the males in my family. They're all gone. And my baby would have been black, Italian, and Mexican. And it would have been a multicultural little girl. I'm saying little girl. 7 weeks. And it died at 7 weeks. It was died at 7 weeks. And I can prove that I was pregnant. If people are saying, you're not pregnant, dude. I was on Social Security. Medicare sent me a bill for the rest of it to be taken out of me. And I just felt a crack in my head, back of my head, like something technological. I can't pinpoint what that is, but it can be proven. They're saying, they can't prove what we're doing to you, Sylvia. They can't prove what we're doing to you at all. And they get a kick out of that because they're using something that was bought in the black market, the technology that they're using, and it was bought illegally or whatever. And if you look at targeted individuals, they're not all that off their rocker. Some of them actually have a point, because some of them are conspiracy theorists. And but I learned a lot from the good ones, and the good ones were like the ones that mattered. I learned a lot about gang stalking. I learned a lot about the kind of technology they use, and I learned a lot about the ones that made a difference. Like one in Canada said on his or her blog, they're going to try to change your core values. Know what your core values are. That struck a nerve for me. And then they're going to try to institutionalize you. Know what your rights are. And entrapment. I know about that. They're going to try to instigate so that I can respond, so the cops can respond. The cops are not above the law. There is no rule of law. Carte blanche when it comes to Sylvia, said Michael Juan. Torture is the law, he said. I'm like, the hell it is. And under Dr. King, he said, remember, Nazi Germany was legal. And he also said that if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But you always have to keep moving forward, because these fuckers, they're not gonna quit. And then at one point he said, I know my head is going one way or another involuntarily again. At one point he said, Nazi Germany was legal. And you have a you always do the right thing, especially when a human life or an animal's life is at stake. And I know his own killed him. I'm not an idiot. Malcolm X, his own killed him too. And the Muslim Brotherhood now, the Muslim extremists are involved. And definitely, I mean, Obama, come on, give me a fucking break. Extremists on the left, extremists on the right, extremists on any front. UCLA is involved. Corrupt politicians are involved. Hollywood is involved, and yes, I have said corrupt politicians before. Hollywood is involved, and other people have grievances against Hollywood and against other people like them, so they need to say something too, because they have every right without fearing for their lives. Other universities that are going through this and students they need to say something. The freedom of speech was suppressed across campuses across the nation, and UCLA is not the only one that tried doing that. I didn't keep my mouth shut. And there are lots of people in lots of universities like UCLA who try to suppress freedom of speech and freedom of expression. And they're hypocritical, because their mission statement says, there goes the AC again, in support of UCLA. Unbelievable. How the timing is just, it's just like, wow. Anyway, what was I going to say? Freedom of expression, freedom of speech was suppressed at UCLA. I'm the one who fought against it when I was there. And how many UCLA rugrats aren't here right now in this Lafayette who know me, and what are they doing here? I'm just saying, you're talking to me. That's my thing. That's my, I know my lingo. I don't need to copy from anybody. Who the hell, besides historical figures, do I admire? I'm not copying anyone. Hollywood, least of all, please. What was I saying? Freedom of speech. Universities across the nation that have been going through the same thing. People need to speak their mind and say something and do something proactive about it. And the way you self-expression, that sort of deal. Write about it, blog about it, videotape, speak out against your grievances against the government, against what you feel is right for you. And it's the right thing to do. It's important to validate your voices, because it's very important for people's pain to be acknowledged. This country needs to acknowledge what it's done. I know the Dutch already acknowledged what they did during the war crimes, and that was validation for a lot of people. Under both administrations, the war on terror, this country needs to acknowledge what it's done to its own citizens and internationally to other people in other countries across the world. It's a right thing to do. They need to be held accountable, both administrations, for what they've done to us and to others internationally. According to Jimmy Carter said, also that the international the human rights abuses internationally have been the worst under the Obama administration alone, and under the Obama administration, forgive me, period. And I'm talking to myself. And I saw that, I read that in a paper online, and I couldn't find his quote anymore after a while. The media just trashed him after that. After I read it, online, And you should go to global research. In 2003, 40 million people were under surveillance, and illegal immigrants. I just heard my my thumb pop or something. Illegal immigrants under Bush, illegal immigrants, religious leaders, people associated with terrorist organizations, and 3 million people of interest, and none of us were accused or formally charged of anything. And that was in 2003, 40 million people. And my point is that there are a lot of people whose voices haven't been heard, and they need to say something. They really do, because under Obama, he was going after, quote, people whom he suspected of affecting social and political change, you know, and that's not funny. And in 2009, I was furious because I'm like, that fucker lynched us, you know, because torture, you know, was accommodated, I guess you could say, arbitrarily going after people, torturing them, and that law protects the torturers. The Jim Crow laws were also legal, assholes, until someone did something about it back in the 60s. That's what they're saying. Torture is a law. It's illegal. It's not legal if you're human, you know. So carte blanche when it comes to Sylvia. I'm like, whoa, torture is a law, and they'll do anything for the United States, anything, as long as it's the war on terror. And Stratford's in the house. They were bragging about in Houston, and they are above the law. They said, they bragged, they are above the law. One of them said, "I am God. Where is your God, Sylvia?" And I'm like, wow. And the Holocaust is here. They bragged about when they were torturing me at the Star of Hope in Houston. And somebody threw a basketball at my back after I had already had a bad back because of how the bus driver drove erratically on the number 20 in Houston. It drove erratically, and I hit the backboard twice, and the impact was huge. I hit the backboard twice, and I got off the bus, and I didn't report it. I already had chronic lower back pain. That's still something I haven't been able to get over. When I went to the Star of Hope in Houston, somebody threw a basketball at my back with full force because I was talking against, like, Michael Juan, one of their own leaders, or Muslim crap, whatever. And whenever I was writing or talking about him, I would get, you know, brutalized, basically. And so my back is still recovering. And then I had to, and that was before I was hit by a van in a hit and run, in the metatarsal fracture. And there goes my ankle. I heard the snap. And that kind of technology is just not good for the body. I was making excuses for it. I'm thinking, I can handle this, and nobody's listening to me, and I can handle this for help or whatever. My body is just a body. My body is a body is a body. It's just a technicality. I'll recover. I'll get over it. And I'm thinking later, I'm like, you know what? That's not even fair, and it's not even right. I'm a human being, and I'm a woman. I've had to deal with irregular menstrual cycles every month. I lost 58 pounds in 6 months. And anyway, she went on a crash diet. And you know, I was eating twice a day at least, and junk food at that. And I lost 58 pounds in 6 months, and she went on a crash diet against my will. My menstrual cycle started becoming irregular. It went from 1 week, and then a week ahead of time after that, every single month, a week afterwards. Then it split into 2 days at the beginning of the month, 3 days at the end of the month, you know. And I'm like, dude, I've never had 2 periods in 1 month in all my life until now. And February, March, and April, I had irregular periods twice, or the first few days at the beginning of the month, twice a month, and then 3 days at the end of the month, February, March, and April. And not until recently did it start becoming more regular. And then I lost 5 pounds. I was happy that I was recovering when I was in Sacramento when someone took me in. And I'm like, oh, look, I'm recovering, and you know, my weight's getting back to normal, you know. And then all of a sudden my weight went back down to 5 pounds. I went down 5 pounds again. And that gynecologist, Nancy, would know. And then I resented her because she said it was normal, the way my period was irregular. I'm like, whatever, you know. And I resented that because that's not normal. That kind of irregularity in my period, is menstrual cycle, is not normal. So I'm a woman, you know, and you have no idea how painful it is for them to mess with your vagina. And it's not cross. So vagina is a body part. Vagina, vagina, vagina. The body part. Deal with it. And it was. I felt sharp pain, intrusive and invasively. That cut, you know, just sharp pain. And somebody just. I mean, anyway, the cut part was involuntary. I felt sharp pain in my vagina, and it was the urinating was painful. My vision was blurred for a while without my glasses. And I was my eyes were watered. You know, I was teary-eyed involuntarily. Speaking against Obama seems to be costly, and I don't give a fuck. And the fucker hates me, and it's fine. I'm very outspoken, and they shouldn't mess with ordinary citizens just because they think we're poor and have no cash. We can't do shit. Obviously, he was wrong. Knowledge is power, and people like Aaron Schwartz, and you know, after 3 years, everything they put him through, I can only imagine what he felt. You know, he didn't feel like he had any recourse. And I'm like, why is that? If he had so many friends, why would Aaron Schwartz kill himself? And I'm thinking, with the enemies or so-called friends that we thought we had, we don't need enemies. You know, I'm thinking, you know, why would he lose hope? Aaron Schwartz means a lot to me, and Jeremy Hammond and Jason Hammond. Jeremy Hammond and Jason Hammond. Jeremy Hammond and Jason Hammond, they're anti-white supremacy as well, and they're very good people. I only believe in good people. And he's suffering from entrapment. I think that they need to be pardoned. You know, the Obama administration is just evil. They need to be pardoned for what they've been put through unjustly in jail, in prison. Chelsea Manning as well. That took a lot of courage to do what she did. You know, and that, I mean, I would have been like right by her side. You know, I mean, are you kidding? You know, I don't stand for crime, for war crimes. I'm a human being being murdered. You know, it's just everything she witnessed. I would have been right there. You know, right there. So I admire heroes like them because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. And again, Malala Yousafzai, Yousafzai, seeing activists like them at a young age, you know, a girl, you know, and she's a child, and she knows that she means a lot to me because she inspires me, and she wants people to know that she's a child, and she's doing something, and that's not exactly what I meant to say. She's a child, she's aware, she's angry, and she took action. That is very courageous, and it's very inspiring. And her father's a teacher, a school teacher, and people like them make a difference in my life. And just because you don't see us outwardly all the time doesn't mean we don't care. We're just, like me in my position, a lot of us, we're going through a lot. And like all the noise out there, that's intimidation, harassment. I have to face, as a woman, it's difficult for me to go outside and not feel fear. I admit it, but that's what they like. They like me to be weak, and they like me to feel fear because they have a tendency to gang up on me when they do that. And I've been threatened all the time. It doesn't bother me anymore. I'm angry. They killed off my brothers and my baby, and the United States is going to have to own up to what it's done with war crimes. It has to. It has to. That's the only way we're going to heal. The only way. No glossing over like San Diego tried to do. I read the Union Tribune. Oh look! All of a sudden everything's hunky dory. That's not even logical. That's not even human. They're cleaning up their act. Not gonna happen. You know, San Diego used to be Tenderloin ages ago. I did my homework a long time ago, and gentrification came in and happened, and you know that's all fine and dandy. But it's still the Tenderloin now, and it's just a little prettier about it, very glossied over. It doesn't make me a communist to speak out my mind, dumb fucks. It just makes me a realist. And like, you know, these people are going to try to hide what they've done. And San Diego's a major player. Behavioral Health Community Research Foundation's Elspeth Guidance Center, Chula Vista, California, asterisk. NAMI went through this in the 60s before it became NAMI. There were a lot of abuses in the mental health system. They reformed it, and I was reading what the do your homework around the 60s. The mental health system, there were victims of abuse, extreme excruciating abuse, and they were comparing it to a fascist Nazi Germany. And I'm like, dude, I'm not that far off the mark then. I'm not that different, you know. And I'm like, obviously people have been through this before. And then they became NAMI. They did it again, you know. So NAMI needs to be held accountable because they are cleaning house as well as covering up what they've done at the same time. So they're kind of sweeping stuff under the rug. People need to say what they've done, what's been done to them, instead of just keeping quiet about it and making me out to be paranoid when I'm not. And I'm very logical, and they say, Sylvia talks to herself, she's crazy. I'm like, dude, anything that's intelligent is crazy. Intelligence is too high and mighty and ideal for you dumb fucks, you know? And I'm like, oh wow, that's my lingo, so sue me. That's the price you pay for freedom of speech, Sylvia. Can't you at least give us that? Oh my God, that was funny, and I don't bow to anyone. I was, you know, they try to force me to bow down in humility to them. They've tried that several times. You need to bow down in humility. They said, the hell I will, I'd rather die. You know, I'm not gonna bow down in humility to anyone, especially Obama's and his extremist friends or cronies on any front. And dude, I'm not gonna bow down. They said, you know, women are up and coming, and fuck that. You know, we don't like you, Sylvia. They said, we don't like women like you, speaking their mind, educated, normal, healthy, sane women. You know, ugly other people inside and out. And now they label me a feminist. I'm not a feminist. I'm just a woman who supports who supports women's rights and violence against. And I'm against violence against women by so-called women and violence against women by so-called men. They've been promoting child abuse, rape against men and children too, domestic violence, gang violence, extremism on any level, pedophilia, and then they have the nerve to say they're doing, well, actually they did say that, they're doing it for the Democrats. And I'm like, dude, I know there are some Democrats who don't like to be represented by extremists, so the joke's on you. And but the left has always been the one. I'm not trying to soften or cover up anything. That's the truth. You know, there's some people who are waking up. And it's supposed to be a democracy. What do you do? I mean, we have to listen to our differences. What are we going to do? Normal people don't kill off the opposition. You just don't. You know, that's like extremism, other fascism, all kinds of crap. I'm not interested in that. I mean, I am interested in combating it. And eternal vigilance is very important. Always important. Always being aware, because if they have a chip on their shoulder, and after Obama, are you kidding? They're going to have a bigger chip on their shoulder than ever. And if they had another opportunity to do it again, they will. So what they're doing now, from my understanding, is that they're going to fine-tune, be more intelligent about it, write more intelligently, and educate themselves. They're fine-tuning, they're brushing, they're cleaning up their act, and that's exactly what they're doing, you know. And that's exactly, they're going to be more intelligent about extremism and communism because of what the United States has done to us in our lives. It's everybody else's fault but theirs, you know. And I'm like, pity party in the house, you know, like, unbelievable. But I have a lot to say, and I'm saying it. And freedom of expression and UCLA mission statement, mission and value statement. I broke that shit down on Facebook. And they don't like me. So we saw you coming, they said. Oh, look at that crap. We saw you coming, they said. Oh, Republican. I'm like, dude, I'm a libertarian, moderate. I'm not a Republican, but I will vote always from left to right unless they're women's issues. Women's issues I'm very concerned about. So, you know, it's not that black and white. It's not that clear cut and dry. It's not that simple. Things are complicated. I'm a libertarian. I'm a moderate. I'm proud. I'm a Republican. I will vote moderate to Republican always, except for women's issues. So things are not that easy to just say you're categorized here and boxed here. And I'm alone and by myself. And I've never been married. I was hearing rumors that they were saying that I was married to Julian Assange. I go, dude, let me puke. You know, you know, I've never been married, especially to a retard like him. And I can't stand that fucker. Jacob Applebaum, Julian Assange, WikiLeaks. You know, don't think so. Whoever allowed him to come into the United States, tit for tat, whatever, it's a big deal because that fucker has caused a lot of problems. And he accused Obama of being a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's actually also Julian Assange and his son. His son will be a problem because these extremists were all excited and happy when they realized that he had a son somewhere. I don't know where he's at now, but he has a teenage son, and they were very happy about him. And that's why he's a potential threat. His teenage son, because he's a communist extremist, and these fuckers are really happy about that. So these are, I speak my mind, and obviously, I mean, if I have the opportunity to, I always, and when I start becoming silent, it's when it becomes, you know, dangerous, and that's when I turn my back on humanity, and that's not something I do. I'm not a politician. I am an activist. I'm a human being. I know there's some good ones out there somewhere. I'm kind of a cynic right now, and I do believe that change can happen if we take responsibility for our own rights. Write to your representatives. It's the truth. Write to your representatives. Speak to your representatives, like Malala Yousafzai, Yousafzai. It makes an impact, especially if you don't see us around here, because I love her. She's adorable. I mean, she is beautiful, very strong, very courageous, very inspiring. Children will see her too. She's 16 years old, and she's been active and against terrorism in her own family, in her own country, in her own community, and she was 11 years old. And her father also was very encouraging, had a lot to do with that. You know, he's a good person, and I'm happy to know there are people everywhere, millions of people just like me, and we're going through the same thing. Education is very, very important, and they're trying to take that away from us by downgrading education or quality here in the United States. Under the Obama administration, we're trying to do that. I'm all pro-education. And Target was targeted because it promoted education with the credit cards, or there's something in October. That's why they hit Target, because they promote education. And if you go to Target, you will see that they are promoters of education. And these fuckers, they don't want that. And Jehovah's Witnesses are also a problem. I'll write more about Jehovah's Witnesses because it's like a long story. And there are a lot of abuses happening within the Jehovah's Witness Church, and that I have witnessed myself. And they're a cult in every sense of the word, perverse cult, child abusing cult, very deviant, very perverse. And I'm a very strong supporter of children's rights, and also of women and children who support women's rights, like Malala Yousafzai. If you read my blog, you'll see why child abuse, a lot of child abuse within the Jehovah's Witness Church. And so they need to see children like and activists like Malala Yousafzai, and they're people like me too who care about their rights and about the fact that these Jehovah's Witnesses think that they own children. Yeah, they're my children. They're our children. You have no right. Doesn't mean you can abuse the shit out of them. Doesn't mean that you can abuse them, do whatever you want to them just because they're yours. They treat them like they're owned. And the kids need to know that they do have rights. They don't have to suffer silently or suffer through any of that. And everybody know. I mean, for those who are out there who don't like being in a spotlight, I'm the same way. I'm very low key. The children are very important, and they need to know that people do care, because they were trying to cover that shit up in San Francisco, and people do care, you know. And it's just a matter of reaching out to the right person, not a stranger. Go to an authority figure, a teacher, a police officer, somebody in authority, official authority that cares. And because a stranger is not going to help, they can take advantage of you. And but there are people who care, and the people in authority are the ones who matter, who make a difference. So go reach out to them, and call 911. Don't be afraid. There are people who care, and no matter what anyone tells you otherwise. So there are people who care, make a difference for them, please. And I don't know. That's the way I feel, and that's the way I am. And I was going to say something else, but for people who can't hear me or don't like the spotlight, I'm the same way. I'm very low key. I like getting lost in crowds. I'm very comfortable with my own space. I like getting lost. And I used to go to bookstores, and I used to watch movies by myself when I was in college. I just very comfortable with my own space. It's very healing and very nurturing. And that's not me. Whatever I just heard right now. It's very healing and very nurturing for me to spend time alone, because you get to identify with who you are, and get to identify your pain or whatever you're feeling towards other people. And it's not the easiest thing to do, but it's a very important, wonderful thing to do. Spending time by yourself. I was just comfortable with myself from the get-go at UCLA when I was going there the second year that I was going there. And it's important to have your own space no matter what. And you get to know yourself a lot better. And yeah, I'm very comfortable with who I am in that sense, and I'm very comfortable being by myself. I'm by myself right now. I'm by myself all the time. Unfortunately, the friends that I thought I had are no longer friends. That's when you get to see who your real friends are. And family and friends are very important right now. They're your support system. They're your network. Very important to stick with your family and friends. No strangers. I wouldn't hire, because these people take advantage of us. And they come across as nice, and they're not. They're manipulative. They're visibly moved, just like Obama was, He says, when did that fucker visibly move for real? You know, come on. He has a tendency to say one thing out there, do the entire opposite in the United States. Not very transparent, like he bragged about. And I remember, and he's still the same way. He will say something entirely different on the outside, and he'll do on the inside of the United States, and doing something entirely different on the outside. He hasn't changed. He's a manipulative bastard. Two-faced too. Oh, he hates me. Oh, you can't. He hates me. And he, from my understanding, he has a tendency to have a track record of taking care of his liabilities, and that was made clear to me too. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm still going to be who I am, and I feel good because at least I'm doing the right thing, and I did the right thing. And my family means the world to me, and I'm not going to stop talking about that or writing about that. So sometimes I feel like I'm babbling, but I think people will understand. I'm the type of person who likes to spend time alone. I don't like being in the spotlight, or I'm kind of reluctant, but I think I have a responsibility, and I'm doing that. And I still need to heal and mourn because of my losses, you know, and my family. I like to do that privately, you know, and that's something I want to do and make a spectacle out of my family. In terms of my mourning and my losses, I want to do something on my own in private because they deserve that. And yeah, I love my family very much. And private time is something that I need to be mourned for my family without people watching me all the time. I never gave up my rights to my privacy. I have a right to be secure in my personal effects, my papers, my body, my mind, and my own property. And some people think that just because I'm renting a room in a motel, that it's not my home. We can do whatever we want. No, it is my home. I'm renting a room in a motel. That's not your home. It is my home. It is my home. You know, maybe like on a weekly basis I'm renting it, but it's cheap. It's like $31.86 a week rate. It's very cheap, and it has a fridge. It has a microwave, and you know I can buy groceries, and I'm by myself. It's worth it. It's on the bad side of town, granted, but it's quiet when I'm quiet. But yeah, it's in South Lafayette. I'm in Lafayette, Louisiana. Just so everybody know, I'm in Lafayette, Louisiana. I made it my goal, and I got here. Man, granted, it was terrifying where the Amtrak train went off on a tangent and just stopped completely. I don't know officially what the story is, but it did actually stop on purpose. Terrifying experience, terrifying. By the time I got here, I was terrified, and I'm glad I called 911 and no one else called. It's just like, wow. Prison home is highly recommended. It cost me, I thought it was $60. It cost me like $89, and it has a GPS. It has a GPS. It's very affordable, and it's like $60 a month, unlimited text time. Another prepaid phone. Prepaid phones have been my lifesaver, and it looks like an iPhone, and I guess it is an iPhone, but it has internet. It has YouTube. It has all kinds of really cool stuff on it. It's only, like I said, $89.99, and I bought it at CVS. Prepaid phone, and monthly is like $60 a month, unlimited everything. Very cool phone, and it has a GPS. And I may not have a lot of money, but I have a brain, and I use it because knowledge is power. Knowledge is power, and education is power. And don't mess with ordinary citizens, because we're not very ordinary when we take responsibility for our lives and self. You know, with great power comes great responsibility, and I'm saying with great self-responsibility comes great self-empowerment. Underscore self-empowerment through self-responsibility. Very important, very important. And we don't have to be perfect to be human beings, but we have to be human, period. And you know, I look around to follow leaders or pay attention to leaders. But when I don't, you know, I don't give up, ever. I mean, maybe I've been through some excruciating pain, and not everyone has to go through that in order to wake up and start doing things the right way. Start paying attention to your surroundings. If you have issues with prejudice or racism, talk about it. Don't just attack someone. Except for people who are racist. You know, my message is to you. We're not that narrow. I'm not like you. We're not like you. We are not like you. We are not monsters. We don't treat people like shit because of who they are. We're human beings. We mean something. And I don't need to put up with your pity shit. I don't need to put up with your killing off my family, the extremists, because you don't like what we are. For whatever reason. You don't like democracy. You don't like the way I express my femininity. You don't like me, period. I've been told that. We just don't like her, period. And so you kill her? That's not even normal. Okay? So to you petty people, if you want to talk about your hatred, talk about it, but not in hate speech. You know, say something, put it online, or I don't even know how to address small-minded people. I don't. My message to you is, you know, fuck you, and I don't support terrorism or hate crimers or murders, and no, I don't believe in the KKK either. Thanks. I'm like, I don't even know how to address those fuckers. I don't. The fact of the matter is, times are changing. There are good times. There are good people of every nationality and color, every creed, every religion, and we don't force our shit down your throat, so don't force your shit down mine and kill off mine because you don't like me. You know, if you want to be in your own isolated little world, and stay there. I'm not a murderer. I'm not a criminal. And I don't kill people off for their differences. If you don't like me, just leave and stay the hell away from the rest of us, because we're normal. And that's why I say so small-minded, racist bastards, pity people. If you don't like something, you take it up legitimately. If you have a grievance, take it up legitimately with the government or with the people who are offending you. You know, just say something constructive. And if you don't say anything constructive, don't say anything at all. Write it and do something with it and leave the rest of us out of it. I'm not pro you at all. And I've seen the gang signs that these people make. I'm not a gang member, so I make fun of them a lot. But sometimes I think that costs me, because they're thinking I started doing this, you know, and I'm like, that was, you know, costly. I'm like, I'm not a gang member. I'm just making fun of them, you know. And my brother, Jose, was racially profiled a lot because he shaved off his head and was bald and he wore an earring. That's when he was in his 20s. My brother and I had a decent relationship. We're not perverts at all. And we're brother and sister. He had the same last name that I did. My other brothers did too. We had a different last name, but we're family. We don't screw each other. We're not perverse, and we've had our share of problems in our lives. But my mom was wonderful, and we had our share of problems with her too. Granted, but she was a wonderful woman. She did the best she could with what she had. That's our mom. We're very loving. My brothers were also very loving, knowable, kind people. They're better than I am, you know, in that sense. I'm more of a cynic compared to them, and that I'm the one who's only one left, and those other two half bitches that can't stand the fact that they're even closely remotely anything to me. I can't stand them because they're extremists and they support that shit. So the drama in my family was spun, and it's a long story, but misinformation, key word, it kills people, and WikiLeaks is a proponent of that. UCLA is also a proponent of that, and they need to be held accountable for what they've done. This should not be happening on campus. This should not be happening in the United States. They should not be happening in any country that's democratic. We need to hold responsible those people who are responsible for extremism and terrorism, and people need to start speaking out if they haven't already. And I'm always getting threatened. My life is always getting threatened. I'm very proud of Dr. Martin Luther King. You know, there's one thing that caught my attention, because he did say that, you know, he didn't think he was going to make it. And I'm like, okay. And I read a book, and he said he wasn't afraid. And I'm thinking, the hell you weren't, sir. You just didn't show it, you know. And I think that's very brave of him. And I don't feel fear right now. I feel angry, very enraged and angry. But I'm very constructive about it. You know, I feel rage. I feel like I want to punch a bag. Part of the NRA, that's my stuff. I support the NRA, and that's my own thing. It's manipulative. I think that I need to defend myself, and I'm willingly saying that, but I'm feeling something in the back to manipulate, to make people believe that I'm not the one that's encouraging that. I'm encouraging myself to learn how to use a handgun. That's my personal beliefs, because I'm always getting threatened with rape, gang rape, violence. They kill off my family, and I'm telling them, if you come near my property, you fuckers are done. Crossing my boundaries, my property, including my body. And I would like to use a handgun in self-defense responsibly and be accountable for it, educate myself about it, because I don't know how, especially since they say I can't defend myself or use a gun because I'm mentally ill. That really pisses me off. So, and I want to learn self-defense. I think it's really important for women. We need to take care of ourselves, and I'm not going to let a misogynist pig of a man dictate to me how I am or how I should be and how I should protect myself, period. If people understand where I'm coming from, great. But if you dictate to me who or what I cannot be, that's like the worst thing you can do is dictate to me how to be, who to be, where to be, how to be, and I don't put up with that shit. And people will call me a bitch because she needs an attitude readjustment. She thinks she's the shit. Like, dude, at the non-convicts, that's very important. In Homeless Resource Center, non-convicts are mixed in with convicts straight out of jail. I'm like, anyone, who's the genius behind that one? And a shelter, non-convicts, ex-prisoners are mixed in with normal homeless people. They're not always convicts. I'm an example. I was homeless for a while. And I'm like, I need my resources. I'm tired. I've been objectified on the street. I need to cut my hair, and I need my sleep 7 hours. I need to eat, and I also need to shower. And I'm not going to give up a 90-day shelter for that shit. But I was always experiencing violence, threats of violence, rape, intimidation for trying to file a restraining order against someone, which I never followed through because of that, and humiliation when I was hungry. And these are the bitches that said, if any other women like you come here, Sylvia, we'll do the exact same thing. No decent women. She's decent and she makes us feel uncomfortable, said the gang members, ex-convicts, and prisoners at the sanctuary. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm surrounded by ex-convicts and crap. And white supremacists and revolutionaries, idealists, psychos, and I'm like, I need to get some sleep. Like 7 hours of sleep, and that's what I was dealing with, though. By the time I left, I was very traumatized. I tried going to a different shelter, and it was quiet and decent there. I didn't know anything about that shelter, but the fact is I shouldn't have to be, oh, it's her fault, she should have gone to a different shelter. No, that's not the point. I shouldn't have to go through that in a 90-day shelter. I needed the shelter, and I needed to nurture and take care of myself. And I didn't have my glasses yet, and then they stole all of my identification, my California ID, my EBT card, my Social Security card. And then when I replaced them, somebody had the audacity and put a copy of my ID and blew it up and put it on my bunk bed, basically saying, in your face, Sylvia, we can steal your stuff, because we know people at the DMV, Golden Gate. We can steal your stuff because we know people who will steal it again. And then a copy of my California ID, a blown up copy, was put on top of my bunk bed. I'm like, oh wow, you know, these people are threatening. It's a threat. We can steal your identification any day, because we know people who work in these places. They pride themselves on that. The Jehovah's, we have connections all over the place in high places. Hey, stupid, who doesn't? You know, the privileged over here. You know, I'm like, sometimes the stupidity just boggles the mind, and it gives me a headache just thinking about it. You know, and we are privileged because we can think and reason. According to Rosa Parks, it's one of the best assets we have. Our brain, use it, and you know. And if you continue to believe in absurdities, you will continue to commit atrocity. That's Voltaire. Noise is a sign that their reasoning is weak. That's a philosopher. That's Michel de Montaigne. And philosophy is not overrated. Education is not overrated. Intellectuals are not overrated. If anything, education has been the reason I'm still alive. And that is the truth. And in the process, I have to figure out my identity with regards to who I was becoming as a woman, all my pains and my losses and my losses of my family and the betrayal. There's a lot of hurts and a lot of good people that have inspired me because they were there when I least expected it, and a lot of wonderful, fortunate people that if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be around. And it was always difficult to get back on my feet. I experienced police brutality in Sacramento, police brutality on the street, and somebody putting their hands on me because I'm a woman, intimidating me, and a cop did that too. I'm like, you touched me, and I started bawling, and he was trying to show me for my own good, there goes my arm, you know, twisted my arm in the back, and for my own good, that I shouldn't be homeless or something. And I was approached by some strangers, some assholes at the Cesar Chavez Park. Yeah, there's a curfew, Sylvia, you should, you know, they didn't know my first name, but there's a curfew, and you shouldn't be here anymore, or the cops are going to be here soon, and I didn't move. There were 3 of them. And I was lying down next to the water. Then they got up, they went inside the water, and they poured water on my head and on my feet. And that is an assault. It's subtle, and sometimes it's worse that it's subtle. That was an assault. They put water on my head and water on my feet to get me away from the fountain. And I didn't move. And they called 911. The fire department showed up. I was already sitting up by the time he got there. The fireman. He pinched my left shoulder, and I was already awake. I'm like, ow, and I'm like, I want to talk to the cops. And he's like, for what? I'm like, I want to talk to the cops. And he walked away, and they never showed. So I had a difficult time on the street. They were sending these fucking leftists, extremists, militant extremists, were coming to me on the street, and they were sitting right next to me. They forced to sit right next to me to intimidate me. And I'm like, get the hell away from me. Get the hell away. What part of that do you not understand? Get away from me. And like afterwards, I felt, wow, that felt good. I said something out loud, you know. And that was after that, not too long after that, I cut my hair off, you know. And the objectification and other stuff that happened afterward, that's pretty crazy. I was told, if you don't screw us or fuck us, then we won't help you. I'm like, you know what? Fuck that. Oh my God, they're going to rape me. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You know, I was thinking all that because I've been through a lot. In 12 years, 24/7, since I was 27 in San Diego alone, not including UCLA before I got to San Diego, I've been through a lot. And people are like, she gets up like nothing and keeps going. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. And then when they took it out on my brothers, my brother Jose was studying administration of justice at Cal State Northridge. That was in a random attack and a murder. And if I would have known that he was systematically tortured since 2004, I found out and followed, I would have been in Arizona in a heartbeat, and in a second, to support him, to be supportive of him. I didn't know. No one said a goddamn word to me in San Diego, and I'm sure people must have known. And Jesse was studied, and he used to work for MTA as cleaning buses. Very noble, kind human being, and one of the noblest people I ever knew. Love him to death. Love him. I mean, I love him a lot. And Renee and my nieces. I'm worried about my nieces. They need to be careful with these fuckers. If they can hear me, the two little girls. Those are Renee's little girls. And I'm saying something because just because I don't say anything doesn't mean that, you know, these fuckers aren't dangerous anyway. So I'd rather say something. And they're beautiful girls, and I think they're wonderful. And they're part Mexican and Italian. I think they're great. They're beautiful. I hope their mom wakes up and realizes that this is not a joke. It's not supposed to. People are not supposed to kill each other for their differences. And I know she's in mourning, hopefully, and she understands why I'm saying that. And my little nieces are very important to me, and they deserve an education. They deserve to believe what they want to believe and know that they have a right to believe in what they want to believe. And democracy is encouraging them to understand that. And they're worth it. They're very much worth it. They're beautiful, and I love them to death because they're my nieces, and I'm an auntie. And they should know that this country stands for good things, no matter what anyone tells you. Democracy is a good thing, and they have every right to be who they are, without their half sisters telling them that they're bitches for whatever reason. And that's their lingo, not mine. And my nieces know who I am. Hopefully know. I'm Renee's sister, older sister, Jesse's sister, and Jose's sister. I'm the oldest one. I'm right here. I'm in Lafayette, Louisiana. And you guys deserve a better education in the future, democracy. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Stop. And if you stop cussing, I don't know. Well, they're good kids. And from here, I love them because they're my brother's daughters. There's two of them. I think they're under 13, probably. And it would be nice for them to know that I love them. I love their dad, and I love their mom, because she was my brother's girlfriend and wife. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And know that I care, and that we're not going to let this happen again. And my condolences to you for mourning him and my brothers and their father. And you know, I care, and I hope they know that. And it's a good country. They love this country, and you know, and if they have something to say and they have to express whatever they're feeling, go ahead and say it. And if whatever you're feeling is valid, no matter what you're feeling and how you're feeling it is valid. Whatever you have to say the kids. And the kid would be encouraging for all kids and teenagers who are angry. And just because they don't say anything doesn't mean they're not impressionable. I saw a little kid in San Francisco, and he was, I think, thinking that he didn't think he was normal because I wasn't saying that I was Latina. I'm like, I'm Hispanic. I'm not Latina. If I was Latina, then I would take ownership of that and say that I am Latina, but I'm not, and it's not his fault. He ended up saying, I'm not normal. I'm like, oh my God. You know, his mom was surprised and I was surprised. I'm like, I resent being put in this position because I'm not into hurting people because of what I believe or what they think I'm saying. It's not fair for them to be hurt because of what they think I believe or what I believe. It's like I'm not much of a public sort of person, but since I was forced in this position, I need to do something more proactive about it. And I don't like affecting people that way. And the little boy didn't know. And he actually said, I'm not normal. And I'm like, it caught my attention. It got his mom's attention because she was surprised. So just because kids don't say anything doesn't mean that they're not feeling anything. And I'm all gung-ho for kids. I think they're important. And they need to know that it doesn't, their ethnicity is important. If the way they express their identity is important. And if they feel that way, and they have every right to self-express themselves in that sense, and be safe about it, non-perverse about it, especially when at that young age. Values are important. Family values are important, because if you ground yourself in something good and what you believe in, then you will get away from bad influences, drugs, crime, violence, anything that puts you down because of who you are. Regardless, that is important. So, the kids have a future, and being a kid, having fun, that's also a good thing. You don't always have to be in the defensive 24/7, taking on the world. Let the adults do that 24/7. They have every right. They have every right to be kids too, and to be free and to have fun. And at least they know something's going on, obviously. But they have a right to be at peace and to have fun and have their family. And that's where I stand. And I think I would have made a great mom, because I was told, you're not fit to be a mother, Sylvia. And I'm like, the hell I wasn't, So my little girl would have been 3 or 4 years old by now. And I can only imagine what they would have done to mine, and unbelievable. How get all that noise, how psychotic some people are in their extremism. I'm gonna go, and but realize there are other people like me. Just because we don't hear about them doesn't mean that they're not around. I'm a woman, a female. I was labeled an enemy of the state ages ago, and so was Jeremy Hammond, Jason Hammond, Chelsea Manning. Imagine that, enemies of the state, and we're like the ones telling the truth and getting our asses kicked for it in a lot of ways. Dehumanization, mocking, hypocrisy, that sort of deal. And if anyone actually can see what I am, then now you know exactly what Jeremy Hammond, Jason Hammond, and Chelsea Manning are too. And they're younger than I am. They're only, from early 20s to mid 20s to late 20s, and I'm almost 40. I'm all gung-ho for people like that. That's young people like that for you. And then I see a 16-year-old, and she's been doing that since she was 11, defending herself and her family and her beliefs and her education. It's just a wonderful thing to see, for people taking responsibility for themselves. And self-empowerment is very important. Education is very important. And I am wholeheartedly inspired by people like that, because they're wonderful people like that, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. If I didn't see that on my own, because I didn't have anyone, which is a wonderful thing, if I didn't see them out there, I'm like, wow, what's this world made of, and that's why I feel for Aaron Swartz, because why would he think, when it was this discussion, why would he kill himself if he felt that he had friends, or felt that there was hope, or, and I understood that from the beginning. With friends like that, who needs enemy, it's just, Aaron Swartz also means a lot to me. We lost a good one, a good person, a very knowledgeable, brilliant person. He was 25, I think, right? 25, something like that. Yeah, Aaron Swartz is very important. And his memory shouldn't be just left alone. He is very important. And so are Chelsea Manning, Jeremy Manning, Jason Manning, and people supporting him, like the Bradley Manning Network. I'm part of the Bradley Manning Network too. And very important. And Snowden is no good. Just so you know, Snowden is no good at all. And Julian Assange is no good. Anyway, have a wonderful evening. Today I think is the 16th. And I have to deal with other stuff. And this is me. I have short hair. I used to have long hair. I'm alive. I'm 39. I'm getting through stuff. I'm feeling better because of the stress that I've been under. And it's an understatement with the kind of crap I have to deal with, petty people. And I'm on live on Google.com Hangouts. This is impromptu. It's not rehearsed. It's not a script. I don't put up with lies and corruption and people getting hurt and things like that. It's live. And I don't know how else this works, but I'm going to stop the broadcast now. And I hope that it helps shed light onto who I am, where I am, what kind of person I am. And I'm an activist. I'm a writer. And what I believe in, my beliefs, my value system are strong. And I believe in a human being, period, regardless of their politics, so long as they don't hurt anyone else. That's what I'm very proud of. I'm here, and I don't hurt anyone. I'm not malicious in that sense at all. This is Sylvia Lydia Morelos, born on April 20th, 1974. Went to UCLA. I'm a college grad. I'm a BA in Latin American Studies from 2003. I wrote for the Daily Bruin. It used to be the Viewpoint Daily Bruin back in 2003, and UCLA, and people are not going. These petty fuckers are not going to change. They're going to pretend to be me. I've heard about that. There's Sylvia. No, there's Sylvia, the gang leader. They'll sound like, wow, you know, like, who the hell's pretending to be me now? And I'm thinking, dude, every day, every week, I find something new about myself. I'm a college grad. I'm articulate. I'm educated. I had a 4 on my AP exam in high school. I placed out of English straight into college. I'm a first-generation college student at 18 years old. I didn't take any English classes at UCLA, humanities classes. I have a talent for words and in a couple of languages, and it's just a natural thing for me. I can do the impromptu thing. I can think. I can logic means a lot to me. My faith is strong in Christianity and Buddhism, and I'm agnostic. I don't belong to any particular church at all, and I like it that way. And I'm an individual, libertarian, and I'm a human being first and foremost. I'm believing in democracy. So that's who I am. This is who I am. Just to me, I cut off my hair. It was long. I'm nearsighted. I can be a 4 eyes, and I don't like being so hard on myself. So I need to deal with those things too. Lots of things I'm dealing with. The implications are just huge. So this is Sylvia Lydia Morelos signing off in Lafayette, Louisiana. And I like it here because it's technology, creativity, and entrepreneurship. They have a lot to offer as rich in culture and rich in education, and I like spending time with myself. I don't trust anybody. I have trust issues, you know, and I think it's kind of understandable why I feel that way. I'm trying to always look at things in a positive way, and that's what I feel when I'm here, and I'm by myself, and I like it. So, signing off. This is Sylvia. I'm all gung ho for democracy. I'm exhausted, but at least I'm doing the right thing. Read Time, the year in review. Time, the Wall Street Journal, LA Times, San Francisco Chronicle. Those are the magazines that I've been reading too, and USA Today. To keep up with what's happening in the United States and outside the United States, it puts things in perspective. Very good thing to do. I'm all gung ho for, you know, FBI.gov and law and order, and I believe in the Constitution. Brush up on the on history and on the Constitution, because the amendments are very important. The Constitution is very important. To me, the NRA is very important. And as a woman, I'm all gung ho for education and being strong and confident and independent and pursuing your dreams and your goals, and however you may want to be. Just, you don't have to be like me, obviously, to be the woman that you are, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise, because we're not all the same. Differences are important. Petty things happen, come and go. That's normal. Petty bitches who want to kill you because you're beautiful in your own way, or whatever politic, whatever creed, whatever. That's not normal. So I'm not putting up with that crap. And it's encouraging to see other women who believe that too, regardless of their politic. And I gotta go. This is Sylvia Lydia Morelos, and I'm stopping the broadcast. Peace. Bye bye.